ค Welcome everyone to the RLCS Full Cup, where today we will witness the best teams, the rest Rocket Team specifically, in SSA region battle it out for the prestige and the championship title. Of course, none of this would be possible without the legends at ACGL jumping in and putting on such an amazing stream. So shout out to our wonderful production team and of course the admin team working hard in the background to make sure everything's finally running smoothly, and they give us, pretty numbers from time to time to read. My name is Proxy and I'll be your host for the day's proceedings, and of course throughout the day these wonderful faces next to me will be joining. First up is, of course, Altruism and Pyro to join us up for the analysis. What a series we have today. I mean, Pyro, let's start with you because it's the new face. It's the first time we've worked together. How excited are you for today's games?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, how excited am I to work with you as Proxy? I'm already having the time of my life here. It's great. But yes, I think today's games also bring a level of excitement as well. I told you guys in the green room, something about today has me feeling the aura of upsets. I mean, come on, ATK historically taking Orlando Pirates to game number 5. Coming off of that rematch from MCN and Reformed, where MCN had their first loss of the season. I feel like we couldn't have a better setup for today's matches. It gives me a very unique level of excitement.
Very unique indeed. Altruism, we're back in the seats of action. And of course, yesterday, the day before, we've had so many confusing upsets. We've had so many surprises in their own ways. How have you been feeling just in terms of this weekend compared to the previous regional, how things are, just proceeding from this region?
Oh man, I'm loving it. I've said it from the beginning, is SSA is the region of upsets. It's the region where you never quite know what Sunday is going to look like when you start on a Friday. And that's what this weekend has been about. We don't know. We normally have a bit of a tussle in that midfield, but now we're even taking that tussle, that real uncertainty all the way to the top. And like Pyro says, it's kind of a day of big clashes, big rivalries that have been set up, and anyone really could end up just in the finals, let alone taking it.
Well, there's too much excitement for me to handle, so let's go take a look at our bracket and see what we are in for today and who'll be knocking our socks off today. Of course, starting out with our matches, we've got Pirate XD versus ATK, we've got Reformed versus MCN, and what's interesting in both of these scenarios, of course, it's a rematch. Both of these teams, they've already faced one another before. We had OP versus ATK ending in a 3-2 win, of course going to Pirate XD, and for MCN, wow, Altruism, you know what happened with MCN and Reformed. It was a 3-1 win for Reformed. You think we're going to be seeing something crazy like that again today?
Listen, I don't think my predictions have any weight now in this matchup, because I was the one who very specifically said there is no way that anyone's going to be taking out MCN. They're kind of put up as that dream team for South Africa. They are the top players who've all culminated together. And last time in a 3-1, it was MCN going down. And it means that, yeah, absolutely anything can happen. Whether it'll happen today, I know Skillsteel yesterday said that maybe MCN wasn't playing as well as they possibly could in their last matchup, but they only have one more chance to do it, and that's today. Whoever shows up today really could take it.
Absolutely. I mean, Pyro, you mentioned it a little bit just before as well. The day is set up for some interesting upsets. We've already had a few surprises from all of the teams. I mean, Graby had mentioned it in the previous stream as well. Teams he didn't think would have a chance to get to the stages they did. They went further than they've ever gone before, and everyone seems to be stepping up in their own way. And can you just elaborate on that little bit of an upset energy that you're feeling today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, it started out with the top 8 from this main event. We saw the Bros and we saw Apex Gaming. Admittedly, 2 teams that I expected to make top 8, but didn't do it last regional. So in terms of historical evidence, it could be counted as an upset. And then now you have this top 4 as well. Not only do you have MCN and Reformed coming off of that rematch that was an upset, you have that match where all 3 games that Reformed took a win, they shut out They Contain Nuts. That is so instrumental. That speaks volumes for what we could have today, the defensive performance of Reformed. And then, we had an interview with Happy Meal yesterday from his team from Orlando Pirates, and though he feels confident in his abilities this weekend, he's playing with either a semi-broken controller or a new controller, which he's saying hinders his performance either way just a tad. He looked spectacular yesterday, so I'm not so sure that it has that much of an effect. But all these things combined just, like it gives me a sense that maybe we've got some surprises in store for today.
I absolutely have to agree with you. And of course, we can take a look at our team comparison just so we can start talking about what we're up for first and what we will be treated to first. Moving on into the first series, I think we're going to be in for a very interesting setup. Of course, as we know, the last series that these teams, or at least the first series, these two teams went head-to-head. It was a 3-2. It was a very close and contentious fight. Orlando then won that rematch, ultimately getting themselves, put back into the scenario. And now ATK, they have to come back again. It's almost that mentality that they need to fight against. Altruism as a team that, has to go up against the best, has to fight their way through, into the brackets, back into this playoff position. What do you think they're going to be bringing into today's matches?
Well, I think Happy Meal summed it up really nicely yesterday. ATK is a really good team at the counter-attacks. They are a very quick team. They've got a lot of individual skill each, and they can make some very creative plays from pretty much anywhere on the field. And I think that's what Orlando Pirates needs to be worried about. Orlando Pirates, not a team that overcommits very regularly, rather relying on Cam and Eliakim in the front lines to just make that while Happy Meal sits back a little bit. He has been talking about the fact that he does want to get involved in the action a little bit, does push up sometimes, and that could be the moment that ATK needs to grab it. If they can take control of that ball, run it forward to the other side of the field, and get that small opportunity to mean something, they've got a good chance to take it every time.
Oh, yes, they do. And as we know, it is going to be a very interesting setup here. Pyro, I mean, these two teams, when we talk about experience in the SSA region for these two teams, they've got bucket loads. They're running in with the absolute supply here for the SSA region. How do you think, what do you think the win condition is going to be for ATK moving into today's games? As they started out, what needs to be their main focus?
Well, okay, the win condition for ATK is a very good question. I think Altruism set this up really well. The counterattack game, as well as punishing mistakes, are two things that Happy Meal mentioned that he worries about ATK, and something he thinks ATK does better than even May Contain Nuts. But I'll throw something else in the mix. I looked at the statistics of the last matchup between ATK and Orlando Pirates, and Orlando Pirates were averaging 10 shots a game. 10, that's double digits. We know this team as an offensive powerhouse, but that's a lot. And that was compared to ATK's just over 5. So I think if you have a team like Orlando Pirates that is crashing the boards, getting rebounds, getting a lot of shots, that is a very strong OP. If ATK are able to hinder that, are able to limit that, and maybe control a little more of that possession, that could be part of that win condition as well.
All right, so we've set it up. We know what ATK have to do today, and we know what they need to bring to the table. The viewers, on the other hand, they need to let us know what they're thinking. What's going to be happening with those predictions? Use the hashtags ATK and hashtag OP to put your votes in chat. Let us know who you think is going to be taking this series as our first semi-final of the day, and it's going to be a cracker of a day. Altruism, we've talked about the win conditions for ATK. We've talked about what they do well, what they, maybe they worry about in a little bit. What do you think is going to be the main focus for Orlando Pirates? As we know, they shoot a lot of goals, but what do they need to bring today that's going to make that scoreline a little bit different, that's going to make that scoreline look stronger for them?
I think the reason why they take so many shots is their kind of win condition for any matchup that they go into, and that's the consistency and the pressure that they're able to put on for extended periods of time. They kind of get into the front lines, crowd out their opponents, wear down their boost, get them to double commit or make an inopportune save, and then they clamp down on it. Every one of them can take a good shot, and they're going to have to test out the ATK plays. If they can control that midfield and just close in that net, ATK is going to have a lot of work to do to try and break out of that.
Oh, the action is obviously going to be prepping. So now this is where I put the power in your hands, although apparently we don't have a lot of power. We talked a little bit off camera, so cost cursing, hopefully not today. But we're going to ask it. Pirate, let's start with you. ATK, Orlando Pirates, who's going to be taking?
This is tough for me because I voted against ATK last time and I was punished severely for it, but I dare do it again. This Orlando Pirates team for me is just too good. When Happy Meal wasn't finding the double taps last series, Cams and Eliakim were matching and duoing up in splendor fashion, in fantastic fashion. There were given goals around the goal line. There were high passes turned into redirects. I am amazed by this team. I see them going all the way. I want a prediction for Orlando Pirates.
All right, we've got the first one in for Orlando Pirates. Altruism, are you going to be following suit? Are you going to be going for the side of ATK?
Well, I don't have my shirt on today, but I'm still a big Orlando Pirates fan. I think out of the two teams, they've gotten more consistency between them. Pyro has just said it now, that give and go, that 1-2 plays between Cam and Eliakim is incredible to watch. And if this is the first time you guys are getting to watch SSA, that is the duo to really look out there. Happy Meal, a stalwart defender in the back line. I think that they understand their roles a little bit better than ATK does in general. And I think that's going to be enough to take them for the victory.
Sure, so we've got two predictions for Orlando Pirates, and now I'm sitting here with a little bit of a conflicted feeling, because now if I need to make my prediction, I want to be the host, and I want to be, fair, and I want to give the dark horse their chance in the limelight, but I'm going to have to give it up to Orlando Pirates myself. I mean, moving into today, just looking at the games that they've been playing, how they've been moving throughout the season, and the experience these teams, these players have had. I mean, they have just been, to me personally, looking like an absolute stellar star lineup. So hopefully today they won't be making us all look like absolute fools. But ATK, they definitely still have an opportunity to bring back that energy and to prove us all wrong, which I wouldn't be too opposed to, honestly. We mentioned the upsets, Pyro. So if we do, if we are proven completely wrong, can we really be mad about it?
I don't think we can. Listen, okay, ATK, they've brought Orlando Pirates to the final game of the last two series, to game number 5. Who's to say this doesn't go to game 7? And who's to say that ATK doesn't come out on top? I think every vote in chat, every believer of ATK has a strong kind of place to stand on. I think it's convincing either way. So ATK, yeah, prove us wrong. I'm ready.
Yes, no, I mean, the chat is there for ATK, right? We've already got the fans, the votes, predictions, they're in. We've got 63% now. Oh, it's changing up a little bit. So some of the Orlando Pirates fans have jumped on in, and they're like, hold on, we're gonna defend our teammates here. It was a 63 to what a little bit of a different split. Now it's a 60-40. So we'll see how long that's going to be lasting. Remember to put those votes in chat. Prove us wrong, prove us right, who knows? But as we're getting ready for this series, I have one more question to ask you, Altruism. Do you think there's any cracks specifically for Orlando Pirates that ATK are going to be working on, specifically just in the defensive line that we've been seeing over the region? Do you think there's maybe a little bit of a shakiness that ATK could be capitalizing, or do you think Orlando Pirates have just been locking it down all day long? Now I'm putting you in the hot seat. You need to analyze them from a negative perspective now.
Every team has the things that they need to work on. There's the little mistouches that sometimes the Orlando Pirates may be overly ambitious and throw themselves into the play too much. You might have a big space between Happy Meal at the back line, and he just isn't there for that follow-up shots. ATK is a good enough team to be able to defend 1 or 2 good shots from Eliakim and Cam in the front lines. And when ATK take control of that ball, their passing plays are so good across the field that I think that they could exploit that midfield. And if it's just Happy Meal alone versus the 2 incoming attackers, there's always opportunities for that give and go and an incredibly good shot coming in there. So I would love to see ATK be able to break out, take advantage of the midfield space that they may be given, and send it home with a couple of really beautiful shots that we know that they're capable for.
I mean, ultimately, if we do see ATK taking this series, then we're going to have a very different final from what we've seen in the previous regionals. So that on its own would be already a beautiful surprise. I mean, we had that reformed MCN, upset already, which gave us a bit of a question mark. When we get to that match later on, there's going to be a lot for us to delve in as well and see if that really is going to be happening again. But for this match, it's all going to come down to that consistency from Orlando Pirates. And for ATK, well, it is the dark horse story. It is the opportunity for them to prove us wrong, firstly, and to prove potentially all the people in chat wrong as well, to showcase why they are such an incredible roster and why they've made it to these stages, these playoffs consistently. I mean, if you talk about any other team, the composure you have to take through to go through all the playoffs, to go through all of the brackets, to go through the chaos of Swiss stage, come out and still be ready for a semi-final, that takes a whole different kind of mentality. But that's enough from me for today. For now, I'm going to give it over to our wonderful casters. It's Pyro and Altruism, or what did we call you earlier? Pyro J? Pyrage? We're gonna stick to that.
Pyrage, Pyro, whatever it is, that's proxy. We're ready to go.
We'll hand it over to our fantastic casters for the first series of the RLCS Full Cup for today.
Pyro. I do like that you at least have the fire in your name, because that's what we're going to be seeing here today. ATK versus Orlando Pirates. I'm excited for this entire day's action, but this out of the two semifinals, I think, as the real biggest sway between the two teams. You and I, and even as we're going behind Pirates, the chat going behind ATK, and you got to give credit to that chat. This is a team that has come together. This international roster has been able to come together. They didn't look as strong last time, but they are feeling themselves today.
And Gizu, I think, is that international presence that I'm especially looking at today. I think their mechanics, especially in the air, taking the ball to a more elevated stance, like we're seeing right off the kickoff here as we jump in to game one, folks, the semifinals for RLCS SSA, the Fall Cup. That's something you got to look out for. Gizu's going to be ready to really test Orlando Pirates in the air, somewhere where I think this team of Orlando Pirates is exceptional, but, you know, to take the test up to an elevated standpoint is definitely going to make for a good game.
Oh, yeah. You need someone who can contest in the air at this top level, and he does it so well. Happy Meal has a little bit of an opportunity. Wurty just catching it on the goal line. Keeps it a level game for now. I like him trying to fight that out. Happy Meal having to scurry back. He's actually going to have to fight out from Wurty. A little bit of calm before the storm here on this back line here for Orlando Pirates, so they nearly pay for it with their first goal.
And Orlando Pirates immediately are getting that inclination of, oh, okay, yeah, we are going to be battle tested in this semifinals. I mean, there never should have been an indication that they weren't going to be tested. We talked about the last two meetings of these teams going to Game 5, going to that last game to decide a winner. This is the match in the semifinals position that you expect to go the distance, and ATK already rivaling 5 shots at the goal line are signaling just that.
Oh, yeah. You know, normally in a best of 7, you think, oh, Happy Meal? No. Normally in a best of 7, you expect that first game to be a little bit of a warm-up game, just find out what your opponents are doing. But these two teams have matched up so many times and so closely before that it's not surprising to see them straight away into that full-pace action. As we see Orlando Pirates now trying to make an attempt, but neither team taking full control of this game just yet, matching up against very good defense.
Oh, the passing play down the stretch there to Gizu was just immaculate. Unfortunately, the follow-up, trying to get that double tap, could not connect. Would love to see those counterattacks look more lethal out of ATK. In the Happy Meal interview from just the other day, he talked about ATK being better on the counterattacks than even a team like May Contain Nuts, arguably the #1 team of this region right now. That's something specifically that Orlando Pirates are weary of and trying to clamp down upon. Gizu with that tap off the backboard. I'm looking for that second touch. They do have a chance here coming back towards the other end. Eliakim smarter on the challenge, able to beat him to it. Happy Meal wants to set up Cams as well. Cams is there for the shot. Can't read the double. There's a double, though, between Happy Meal and Eliakim, and a little miscommunication there that's going to stall their possession just a bit.
And it's not their first double of this match. There's definitely been a change in mentality here from the Orlando Pirates side. Normally so composed. And in defense and in offense, they've thrown a couple of people up when they only needed one. A bad miss there from Happy Meal puts them under pressure. Thankfully, Cam's in there waiting for it. Now Happy Meal has work to do off this backboard. Doesn't have an easy touch. Does manage to at least get assisted by Eliakim. And those double commits, it's what I said was the win condition here for ATK, to take advantage of those. So far, unable to do it with just under 2 minutes left.
There is another major win condition of ATK, though, as well, and that is hindering the shots of Orlando Pirates. In the last match, they averaged 10 per game. Right now, they're only at 5. ATK keeping goose eggs on either side of the scoreboard is almost an advantage to this team. Do still need to find one, though, and Gizu heading this ball, careening it down the sideline, is trying to do just that. Cams does beat a defender here, and Cam's not going to be able to win that 50-50 as Willu takes it to center court. Can somebody from ATK get there quicker? No, Cams breaks up the play. Gizu around the corner, nobody there to slot in for the shot of ATK. Despite the possessions they're earning, the shot count has definitely slowed down as we track back to this final minute of game number 1.
Oh, Cam's puts it nicely towards the center. Happy Meal was up there. Laikim's got some space now. He puts it very high. Happy Meal looking off the backboard. Isn't going to get a touch. Laikim going to shut down that attempted clear, but it's over Cam's. This is actually a big attempt. Gizu trying to get it towards the center. Happy Meal popping it up nicely there. Still got 40 seconds. Puts Cam's in a bit of an awkward position. Attempt at the team pitch there. So far, ATK doing a great job to try and get into this back line. They've got it up there. One shot. Wheeler gets it up. There's an attempt there. Werty going to be the one to open up our scoring here between the two teams. Up so high, out of the reach of this Orlando Pirates side. It is Orange to get it first.
Gizu, Willu to Werty. Listen, Gizu had a chance for the double tap. Willu had a chance to put that on target. Neither of them needed to, though, because the backboard presence from Orlando Pirates was lacking. They were not able to break up that play. They were stalled out on the goal line, and now they're in a position to lose game one, and ATK are in even a better position to win it. It's Willu for the second goal.
Oh man, that went from a very locked game to a very sudden switch here for ATK. They seem to be tearing apart this back line of what should be a very well-versed team in the defense, but so far ATK has found opportunities. They've been able to get it past players. A couple of bad touches or misses from the back lines. Double commits still coming out from Orlando Pirates, and ATK are going to be very happy to take this first game 2-0.
Most certainly, it is assured now. Game one of this best of 7 semifinals will go to the side of ATK. It is a shutout against Orlando Pirates. And you know what, Altruism? I mean, I think about how Reformed had that upset against May Contain Nuts earlier in the main event. May Contain Nuts were shut out in game one, game two, and game four. Is this the route as well for ATK to pull off the upset, to shut out Orlando Pirates at every step that they take? So far, it's working out pretty well.
Well, listen, if you can shut out your opponents, that's always a good start to being able to win your games, 100%. And if you look at it, like you said earlier, that victory road for ATK is paved with shutting down the goals, or at least the shot opportunities for Orlando Pirates. And they've actually swapped their averages now. Normally, Orlando Pirates averaging 10 shots per game, ATK only 5. Now reversed around where ATK had the brunt of that offensive pressure.
That's right. So important for ATK, not only to get their shot count up, but I think to limit Orlando Pirates is massive, because any scoring chance from Orlando Pirates, when you have people like Cam's alike him, and let's be genuine about it, Happy Meal as well, who was setting up double taps all day yesterday, all of them very dangerous at any scoring chance. So yeah, 0 points here for Orlando Pirates. Not something we talk about all the time. Game two, it could be a change. We got a long series ahead of us, Altruism. But ATK, if they're hoping for that upset today, this is the best start.
Well, I can imagine Twitch chat going crazy right now, considering their team is up 1-0. Best of 7, like you say. A lot of time yet for both teams to come back into this. We do normally see Orlando Pirates being weakest in their first game while they're still trying to warm up. Maybe that's where the miscommunication came in. Cam's now looking to take it up. Gets a nice little flip. Pops it up very high and gets the bump. He takes out the entire Orange team there single-handedly, starting with some aerial prowess, getting in underneath this, and then following it up with carnage, taking out 2 players on his way through.
That is so emblematic of the fine, I'll do it myself mentality from Cam's, and, from who else than this player who can stand out. But, in fairness, ATK could have really batted that one away. Cam's with that extra flip was great, but the bumping presence as well, there's a chance to get around that. ATK not off their front foot here in this game, but still, of course, a majority of the time to go. Willu able to kick away that touch from Happy Meal. A little bit concerning, but they're able to get it to that half-court line.
Well, again, double commits now, this time from ATK's side, and Pirates not without their own, unfortunately. So both teams not playing up to their normal, polished, professional level yet. It is ATK onto the attack. They would like to end this 1-goal lead as soon as possible. Werty coming off the wall awkwardly, doesn't manage to get a touch on this. Gizo's got some space, but removed by Happy Meal. Great 50 comes out from Wilu, though. Alaikum has work to do. He misses this one. They cannot let those opportunities go like this. Every missed touch is a big opportunity for ATK. And so far, Orlando Pirates coming out unscathed somehow.
And yeah, I think that pinch off the wall is one thing that's going to enable them a lot. Flexing the mechanics, we saw Cams with some extra flips. We're seeing these pinches off the wall as well. I think when it comes to mechanical ability, Orlando Pirates may have ATK beat Happy Meal. I thought he may have had an extra flip on that play as well. Somehow Gizu in front of the shot from Cams, despite the mechanical ability and the comfort in the air from this team. Oh, it is still ATK to bat it away and bring the same level of pressure as well. ATK at every chance are telling Orlando Pirates, we've got that skill level too.
Oh yeah, you can see it 100%. All of these players know exactly what they're doing, and they've practiced enough to polish those mechanics. These guys are pulling off incredible things, and so it's going to be a tussle between that mental game and the physical game of these two teams. Now a jump up from Happy Meal for unneeded. Cam's going to come through. He's been very aggressive so far on his pushes, going for those physical plays, but it's not going to help when the pass towards the center comes out like that and we lose waiting.
And there's the equalizer that we've been waiting to see. ATK got started so well in this series. That backboard's been a little too free from Orlando Pirates' standpoint, if you ask me, Altruism. A lot of passes coming off of that point, and there's no lack of presence from the defense Orlando Pirates. The problem is they're all on the goal line. Very difficult to get to that shot first when you're sitting there at the bottom of the goal.
Oh, 100%. Your defense doesn't just have to be present, they have to be effective. And between the missed touches and they're just not caring for that backboard enough, puts them under a lot of pressure. Lycum has to push this towards the side. Willow gonna be the one to try pull this back towards the center. And it's been a rough tussle for both of these teams, trying to find it out there. Werty gets a nice pop towards the center. Cam shuts it down, leaves a Lycum alone, and it is gonna go towards the orange, the blue goals at least.
What's interesting is so often what we see from the Orlando Pirates to get their offense going is passes from down their own end of the field, high cross-court passes to somebody who's already pre-jumping it, like a Lycum or Cams, ready to redirect it back down to the net. We haven't seen as much of that. You see that pass to a Lycum trying to strike a resemblance of it, but I think ATK and the way that they've been able to keep hold of their resources, challenge very early in the air like they just did there to Cams, it's limiting the options of Orlando Pirates. And when you can do that, you are definitely a dangerous contender to the team of Orlando Pirates, making them score much less. I love that dump pass from Willu. Gizu just not there quick enough. Wordy wants to keep this possession going there with a nice touch.
Oh, nice handoff there. Cams has got some space now, trying to find off the backboard. Good pinch out there, keeps this ATK side alive. They've lost one in the back line. Happy Meal, in fact, they've lost two in the back line, so that should be an end now to this ATK attack. Willu gonna try and keep it going. Another demo comes out here. This one from Lycum opens up things in the center. Happy Meal gets the pass. Cams was up. Lycum's still there, but he pushes it towards the corner. Not gonna be able to pick this up. Happy Meal wants to get this pressure going and start the first real sustained play here for Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, the sustainability, though, is just not extended enough. The follow-ups right now from Orlando Pirates are not as clinical as we're used to this team having. You had a double commit on the defensive line from ATK. Lycum's up for the shot, but it goes slow and by the wayside. That shot for Orlando Pirates, that needs to be the one that they're scoring to strike fear in the eyes of ATK. Instead, I think ATK are feeling a little more comfortable in this series against Orlando Pirates, who aren't striking their hardest. The timer is down to single digits. We're that close to overtime now. ATK could spoil the party with a shot here where he takes it to the corner. It's to the ground, and we earn overtime.
You know, you touched on a very important point there. Orlando Pirates, one of their biggest skills is their unity, their cohesion as a team, being able to find each other, and they just haven't made that space for themselves. Constantly grouping up like this, Cams and Happy Meal that time in the corner there means that there's not that extra man to reinforce your back line. Even on defense, a couple of big double commits. Oh, Lycum gets the flick. There is a Cams there. He makes no mistake when it's set up that beautifully for him. It is going to be Orlando Pirates able to level up the series.
And these chances have been given a lot during this game from Orlando Pirates. Just the touches off the backboard, the follow-ups, they haven't been there. Finally, it takes one final opportunity from Orlando Pirates and that dynamic duo of Lycum and Cams to score the overtime goal. Right there, Altruism, right off the kickoff. OP able to take their first game.
Oh, much better spreading out from them, a much better way to work together as a team, still being restricted to only the 5 shots. But this time, they've got the people to follow up and get in there for that extra shot. It's not about how many shots you've got. It's about being able to take those at the right time. And Orlando Pirates did that just a little bit better. Still, only 1 goal in it from overtime. We're down to a best of 5.
We are. Oh my, just to think about that. We had a lot of sweeps yesterday or 4-1 series, but it's true that this could go the distance. I mean, Orlando Pirates, Ultrism, this team that's normally a bonfire, a raging fire, feels just like a withering flame right now. It just started to spark with that read from the backboard of Cams in overtime, but man, for this team to be contained as much as it has been from ATK is an accomplishment of its own from ATK. Still, I think Orlando Pirates, they're getting more fired up as the series goes and could become more dangerous as the match goes on.
Yeah, I said it earlier. Orlando Pirates normally looks the weakest in their first game, and now they looked a little bit stronger, trying to get that more cohesion. If they can keep going, it's up to who has the deeper pockets in this game, who can just keep ramping it up more and more, showing extra creativity, finding new ways to approach a team that has been pushing against them so hard for now. ATK is certainly no stranger to the big stages, but I think Orlando Pirates, out of the 2 teams, has a little bit more of this big match temperament when it comes to it. That shot just going wide. I like him now, setting up in the center. He sees Cam across the field, does manage to get it down to him. Shot is there, but saved by Werty.
And Cams has been trying to thread the needle from between the defenders all game long so far. What a power shot from Eliakim. This is what I've been looking for, admittedly, from this team, is some clinicality on the shot taking. And here it finally is. Happy Meal trying to read that off the backboard, cherry pick a little bit, could not find it. But in a fury, Orlando Pirates are beginning this game. Could it all go to rest? It will. Put them to bed, Wordy. The opening goal for ATK.
Man, we said that this was ATK's powerhouse. It was their counterattacks. They make no mistake. They last through the pressure of Orlando Pirates and find Werty in the center, turn the pressure around, and bring up their lead.
Wonderful showing from ATK. Again, Happy Meal in his interview said the one thing we're worried about is punish mistakes from ATK and the counterattacks. That counterattack so lethal, so quick, but oh, the response, how much more rapid it can be. Happy Meal, the half-court defender, the guardian, that is his zone right there in the midfield. He'll take that shot any game of the series.
Man, Orlando Pirates not afraid to get physical, not afraid to take out the important person from their other team. And the follow-through there was fantastic. They've been so good on their kickoffs, but it's going to go around the other way this time. Gizo going to be able to pick this up. A lovely pinch from Werty, and I like him not able to get up to it by millimeters. Still being the last man back there leaves the goals completely open, and ATK have their lead back.
That goal is so influential, Ultrism, because who beats Eliakim in the air?
Whoa, yeah.
A few amount of players. Eliakim, well regarded as one of the fastest players in this region. For Gizu to beat him there is exceptional. But Orlando Pirates will not let ATK breathe easy. Every response that much faster.
Oh, I love it. And the awareness there to go for that passing play. Really nice to come across there. Cam's not able to do it, but backed up by Happy Meal. It's back and forth, these 2 teams. We promised you guys a wonderful contest where we didn't know which way it was going, and these teams are not disappointing right now. Good defense by Eliakim off the backboard. Finds Happy Meal. Happy Meal unable to get that touch. Still instead hanging around, looking for that 50. Gets it towards the center. Gizo's got some work to do. He finds Werty, finds Wheeler in the center there. The touches back and forth from this ATK side, open it up. But Happy Meal has some space now.
You can see the exact game plan that was drawn up there for ATK on the counter. That's why they're so dangerous. They know how to utilize every resource on the field to make that very quick transition from defense to offense. It just took the connection. And Willu not able to take the shot, but Happy Meal is there once again. Happy Meal will not go down in this game. That is a hat trick from the player.
Oh, wonderful. Again, the passing plays. They get it up the field so quickly. Happy Meal wasting no time to join in Cams. And he, we said earlier, was known for his backwards defense style. his very stalwart back third man position, but he's not wasting time this time. He's just coming forward, and it's actually going to go in off Werty. Eliakim somehow picks off a fortuitous goal.
I wonder if this is the turning point of the series already. It very well could be. This is looking disastrous right now for ATK, a team that has been very consistent on the back line, very strong defensively. Something they absolutely need to be against Orlando Pirates is starting to show signs of miscues, mistakes, a little bit of dents in the armor here. But can they recapitalize though? Can they find their grounding? Still half of the game to go.
Nice pass out towards the center. Werty going to be looking back for Gizo. Gizo under a lot of pressure. Wheeler very close to the net, unable to get to it, but he turns it into a pinch towards the center. Important save. A very grouped up Orlando Pirates side now has work to do. They've got to keep it away from Werty, and the shot, it clangs off the upright. ATK denied once more, but they're not ready to give up this attack just yet. Still looking for it, and Orlando Pirates somehow come away without a goal to their name.
Werty does have another chance though. Willu trying to harass Happy Meal on the goal line. Cannot connect on the bump though. And they're trying to activate Werty right now. I mean, he's been the sharpshooter for this team. He's slotted at the top corner at the opposite post to score a couple fantastic goals. There's another enabling of Werty. He tries to slot it. Cams with the save like him on the goal line. Still, it's not enough. You just can't stop Werty today. He's here to provide the next goal.
Cam's going up for that. That slower shot means that it still finds its way towards the center. Eliakim static in front of the goal line there. Just doesn't have the pace to get any more distance. And like you say, Werty, that incredible pickpocket there, being able to find even the smallest space and goes for it. Now Gizu has some time to flex. Finds up against Eliakim. No stranger to the 1v1 game. He's able to turn around. But this is where this ATK side is shining. Being able to find it towards the center. Pumps out now. Cams actually has space. He sends it a long way down the field. It's going to go just past the bonnet of Wheelu. And Cams picks up another 2-goal lead.
But you wonder why ATK looks so dangerous on that last possession that they scored. It's because they've activated their aggression. Very, very much crashing the boards on their last offensive possession because they're all committing here. That leaves them vulnerable to the counter attack. ATK giving up pretty easy transition goal there for Orlando Pirates. They could be vulnerable to it once again, being 2 down with a minute to go.
You know, that's the big thing when you are sitting at that last minute. And I feel like ATK is really now starting to try and pick up that pace, like you say. They have to invest a lot of resources whenever they go forwards. But then it punishes them if they cannot get back. If Orlando Pirates do manage to hold on by their fingertips, there's that open field that they can go into. This is a big loose ball into the center. Happy Meal going to get a second touch. Actually just going to bait out Willu in the center. Cam's going for that 50. I like him being left in the defensive role for today. He sends it a long way down the field. Thought Happy Meal was going for the bump there onto Werty, but doesn't do it. I like him using some of that mechanical prowess off the wall to try and cramp it up. And with 30 seconds left, ATK needs to act now.
Oh, they're acting all right. Gizu, the give and go. Oh, and Werty, he's been set up for so many shots, but he knows at this point in time, oh, that's Willu to set up Gizu instead. Happy Meal like a deer in the headlights, just standing still. No idea where to take that defensive stance, and ATK given one final chance.
Man, it seems like ATK realized they might not be able to win out. The bouncing shots! Gizu coming out of nowhere to follow that one up. Takes it, bounces it off the roof, knocks it down, and on the way back to earth, gets it underneath the last defender. With 30 seconds left, ATK close down the 2-goal lead and bring it to a level game.
Nah, he did not just do that. Gizu did not just do Orlando Pirates like that. The Pirates just Titans in the sky. Gizu says, I'm the Titan Slayer. Takes that second touch, scores it again. They're on their back foot once again here. Orlando Pirates, will they give up another in regulation time? The bumps are coming out, crowding around the ball. Eliakim given a final chance. He's there for the second touch. Is Cam's anywhere to meet it? He might take a second touch off the backboard, but Werty has one last press down field. Either way, no matter how it goes, ATK make their comeback. They earn another overtime.
All right, I don't know if I can do this. If we go game 7, Gizu
Oh, no.
has some space now, denied by Happy Meal, but 7 games of this? Are you kidding me? 2 of the 3 games ending in an overtime. This one, the highest scoring by far, culminating in more goals than both of the first 2 games put together. And still, I can't tell who has the edge.
I'm worried right now for Orlando Pirates. That first start looked a little testing. Right off the post, Eliakim an inch closer to the net, and that's in. The game is sealed. But no, ATK will breathe at least another breath here. They're still crowded around their back third. Willu cannot find that touch. Gizu leaving this for Wordy and finds the better of the 50-50. Cams presses back down to the middle. They are down 1 player here. Happy Meal out of it. Eliakim doesn't matter. Off the backboard, Cam's broken off. Happy Meal off the respawn. He's the reinforcements that the team needed, and he'll shut it down in overtime.
Man, Happy Meal must have been holding that trigger since the moment he came back to reinforce it that quickly. He knew his team had the advantage, and Orlando Pirates, they took a 2-goal lead twice in this game. It got pulled back by ATK, not ready at any stage to give it up. But Orlando Pirates, they have the elephant share, I've got to say, of the shots in this game. 16 shots to 11. Both teams fighting tooth and nail down to the last seconds. And eventually Orlando Pirates just managed to throw everything at it to get that last one.
Oh, they threw everything all right. I mean, especially with that jump scare of a moment at the beginning of the kickoff of overtime when the ball was that close to landing in. It was Happy Meal to save the day, and it was him that scored as well. I'll tell you what, Altruism, this is a much needed win, in my opinion, for Atlanta Pirates to try and cement their dominance in this series. But ATK, now they're the team that's looking better and better. Gizu with a hat trick and that last goal in regulation time, the read off the ceiling. When you have a player like that, the mechanical abilities that they have, feeling more and more confident as the series goes on, I think these games are just going to get more and more dangerous.
You never know, right? Orlando Pirates wanting to put on that aggression for such sustained periods, but ATK always with that threat of the counterattack at every single moment. It just could break away. You just can feel that tension build from both of the sides. I mean, between you and I, we're going to have lost our voice from this, and this is still just the first series of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone going to promise to be as tight as the previous one. Orlando Pirates 1 game up and looking to take game number 4 with Cams getting a lovely little loft here across the field.
And watch how Cams just slows the play down. He knows Eliakim is doing the lion's share of the work here, trying to bump away Gizu. In fairness, avoided that physicality quite well, but in the path of avoidance left him away from the save. So Orlando Pirates off of the win, trying to continue that momentum. But if we know one thing about ATK yet this series, Altruism, they're gonna battle back.
Of course they're going to. They've already been showing that they want to go forwards. The redirect attempt there by Gizu, trying to find an unexpected opportunity for his team. Doesn't have the boost now to follow this one up. Gives it off to Happy Meal. And this is where Orlando Pirates just really look dangerous. When they find some space in the center, levels up the shot there. Cams makes no mistake once more. And you could not ask for an easier second goal set up by Eliakim.
And this is ATK looking a little bit vulnerable, needing more presence on the back line there. The third all the way out at the midfield, but give credit to Eliakim as well. He can easily rotate out, look for the bump. Instead, had confidence in the pass to Cams. That duo of Cams and Eliakim was something we were worried about. Oh, Wordy wanted a meaty redirect there, setting up Gizu. Willu's there to finish, and when they have the opportunity, they're gonna crash the boards. ATK responding.
Oh, I think that entire team coming together here from ATK. What a setup. Worty getting it down the entire field, getting that upside down touch to the backboard. And it's not the first shot you need to worry about with a team like ATK. They have so much more in the tank. And when they force out every bit of defensive prowess from Orlando Pirates, they're still going to be there to send it back. 1 goal now separating these two teams.
I love now that game 3 was no unique case altruism with the amount of scoring. It's definitive now that we're going to see that once again in this game, but maybe not if Eliakim can make predictions like that on the goal line. What a save coming out of that player who now eliminates Will Liu, but Gizu doesn't care, still going to take the shot, forcing Cams up for the save. Eliakim trying to find a way out of their own half, picking up some boost, very timely. Boost grab from him, the boost gods granting favor to Eliakim and activating him down the sideline. He'll land on it again. Happy Meal and Eliakim both crowded around the corner there, but it does not give up their possession. Cams doesn't find the touch after Wordies. He's out of boost, picks up one single pad and still able to get past the defender, but Happy Meal looking to read this off the backboard, stripped of that read though from the clear of Willu.
You can see how ambitious these and aware these ATK players are. They know that anywhere on this backboard is dangerous. They have to tend their goal line from even the corners there. Now 2 up on the backboard. This drops down. Eliakim takes a shot, but denied by the clash of Werty as he comes down. Still ATK in disarray in the back lines there. Cams has an attempt to keep going forward. Doesn't have a lot of boost. Doesn't need it. Gets it past one. Goes for the bump. Sends out the defender, but it rolls over the top of the ATK goal. Still, Orlando Pirates, this is their game plan. They get their pressure going and they don't let it go.
No, the foot off the gas pedal has not been let up, not one bit. Cams, that pass bump combination at the ball right across the face of the goal line. That play doesn't matter anymore. Gizu looking for the double tap. The setup from Willu goes too high. The shot there just not on the mark, but Gizu looking more and more dangerous as he takes flight on every opportunity. I think he wants that one back, altruism, as they try to get a chance with the clear, but Happy Meal there to respond. The ball comes across the face of the goal once again as Orlando Pirates let another opportunity go by.
Oh, Orlando Pirates not being able to close it out. ATK also struggling to find the back of the net. This is an opportunity here. Happy Meal misses it in the air now. Eliakim trying to cut back towards the center. Finds 3 waiting defenders for it. And this is ATK. They've been pushed hard. They've been trying to get back into this game for so long. They've got to do the defensive work first. But when they get that breakaway opportunity, you can imagine they're going to take it with both hands.
Most certainly are. At any point, ATK is a dangerous team. 2 defenders skying up to that shot from Happy Meal is going to leave their backline exposed. Cams almost actually getting the read for himself off the backboard. It's another setup for them. Goal line bump does not connect for Happy Meal. There's a defender up at it. ATK, what they've done well is sending, most times, 1 defender on the ball, leaving reinforcements for every single play, except for this one. Happy Meal follows his own setup to extend the lead.
Oh, that completely set up with Cams there in the back line with the demo. He has been bloodthirsty all day. And this Orlando Pirates, one of the most hungry teams. They've got that rotational awareness. They don't just hit the ball. There's always something else. And this shot from Cams now looking for the back of the net. A great save comes out from Gizu, but it's not enough. They're still 2 goals behind. They need to pick it up now. We've seen them pull it back in the last 30 seconds from the same deficit. Will they be able to do it again, or Orlando Pirates going to set them up onto game point?
It just so happens that ATK, once they're down 2 goals, they have been their most lethal. Is this the moment where they're able to come back? Time not on their side, but the pass from Gizu certainly right in position for Wordy to take to the back line. A couple shots go off the mark here and allow Orlando Pirates for some easy clears. Camps a nice read on that challenge. Happy Meal harassing on the back line, trying to steal boost, leaving ATK depleted the resources that they need for the counter. Eliakim pass another defender. Wordy, that's a light clear. He doesn't have the resources. Once again, no boost to get this ball away, and that is the signal flare. That is the timer gone down to 000. Orlando Pirates in the semifinals against ATK, finally on match point.
Oh, ATK has shown that they can take it all the way to the end of the series before, and they're going to have to do it now. One short of a complete reverse sweep now required of them. Orlando Pirates, though, arguably looking like the stronger team. Eliakim, let's give some credit to this guy on the backboard, on the defense. I don't know how he's able to react this quickly, but he's been there time and time again. He's got the most saves. It only credits him with 2 in this game, but he has put in so much work out of this series. And then the other side, everyone getting involved. The a 12 shots, doubling up the ATK, as is the parlance here for Orlando Pirates normally. But ATK still so close to scoring their own goals.
I mean, you can tell why this team of ATK normally takes Orlando Pirates to game number 5 in the last 2 best-of-5s that they've played against each other. They have that ability to battle back. Every single press forward from Orlando Pirates has been met with a response, except for that second half of this previous game. It feels like Orlando Pirates finally starting to dig their heels in this series and saying, no, ATK, we've seen Gizu and your ridiculous aerial plays and reads off the ceiling. We've seen all of it now. We know all your tricks, all your trades, and we're here to stop them and cut them short. One final step separates Orlando Pirates from the semifinals to the grand finals of the second regional. That will be their second meeting at that final step of the regional. With one win here, they can get to that step.
The question really comes out, what do ATK still have in the tank? They've shown some incredible plays to be able to get them this far, but are they running out of steam? Have they, Orlando Pirates, now just got their number? This could be a start, though. I like him again, having to cut through at the back line there to take care of that. But ATK, do you have more creativity, more ways to catch this Orlando Pirates off the back line? Or is it just going to be, again, Orlando Pirates dictating the pace of this game?
I really like this maneuver from Wordy. Not just an unintentional clear down the field, but instead keeps the ball close, opting for extra touches and forcing Orlando Pirates to make a move, not with their own possession, but to contend for it. And he's well positioned for those 50-50s as well. And look at the possession it has granted them. Cams, though, so smart to take this high. This is where he's most comfortable. This is where he can lead the way. Flip reset, puts it on target, but the defensive ATK is still strong.
Again, creativity coming out from both sides there. Cams has been wondrous in the way he's able to do it. These little touches towards the center is where Orlando Pirates is really shining. Happy Meal not able to get up to it means that Eliakim has work to do in the background. Gets denied actually by Gizu. And Cams now has to do work. A bit of a clash in the midfield means Happy Meal going to have some space to get up to this. Wurty, not a lot of boost to work with, but still does a good job. Gets an extra touch there. Has plenty of teammates to back him up, but all of them running low on resources. Wurty now has to make a turn in the center. Gizu has to make this count. Doesn't get it far enough. Cams and the rest of Orlando Pirates now looking to get this here. The extra little touch. Eliakim puts it very far across the field, but Orlando Pirates would love to keep this extended pressure going because that's where they really shine.
Oh, and the sweat is dripping off the forehead right now for ATK. They've been so strucken down on their own back third for so long. And Eliakim, that's where he loves to put his opponents. So many container boost steals that he's been able to attribute during that possession. Still, Gizu able to bring it back. Rings right off the top corner. Gizu even on the counter trying to defend. You cannot defend the shot from Cams. So well placed for the opening goal.
Oh, and this is Orlando Pirates, right? These 1-2 plays that cross across the field. And if you can find someone a couple of yards out in front of the goals, there are very few defenders in the world who can get to that in time. And it's more than a pre-jump required at that stage. A little bit of a early jump coming out there from Happy Meal, but he forces the ATK side into the corner. The 1-2 touches still looking for ATK. They've got less than half the game yet to go. Got a single goal in it, but Orlando Pirates straight back into the attack.
Feeling like as we move on through this series and the limited goal scoring that we've seen, that ATK and their fangs have been removed. The lethality that we've seen from this team has just been completely contained by Orlando Pirates in the last maybe 5 minutes of gameplay. Will that change right here, right now? Yes, the drought of scoring that extended past a full game's length is finally rejuvenated for ATK. They have responded.
Man, that caster curse is real. Gizu going up the wall. Beautiful awareness to be able to get that through. And then sending it so high and so fast across the goal. Cam's unable to reach it. And ATK show that they're not out of it yet. It's been their first big goal in a long time. And certainly the first one that's felt that they can keep it in here. Wurty in the center now, trying to find that edge of the goal. Denied out for now. William now doesn't have a lot of boost to work with. Kind of hanging around. Might want to track back, because the Orlando Pirates offense is straight into it. It uses that little bit of boost to find Gizo in the center. And ATK wants to be the ones to put on this pressure for a while.
They do. It means surviving the day's antics here on Championship Sunday. They've provided their first chance in the top 4 this season. They don't want to go out early. Not yet, not now, and they still have a chance to bring this back. Just a second goal could be all they need to bring this series to a game number 6. And Gizu beating defenders left and right. Can't get that challenge on Eliakim, but the center field pass is still there from Willu. Wordy just doesn't want to bite on it yet. They've been beaten by going too far up the field in moments where they didn't need to, so they're trying to choose the right opportunity to strike. It hasn't come for ATK yet, but Orlando Pirates setting up something themselves.
Man, the patience shown from both of these teams, like you say, waiting for that opportunity to strike. This could be it for Gizu, but both teams waiting for it. It is Gizu! He gets that touch off an incredible angle, even though there was a defender waiting in the back line. Happy Meal just trying to stall it out, and Eliakim trying to beat it on the wall, can't get there in time, and Cams, even though he had millimeters to move, still the pace was too far. ATK with 33 seconds left may have just brought themselves an extra ticket back into this game.
Oh my goodness, they have the chance off the kickoff as well. Happy Meal able to save that. The pass out to Wordy is there. Cam's able to strip them of it. Gizu, that just wasn't a double tap. That was surgical. And he's there to instill what dominance is still left from ATK. They could continue it as well. Wordy beats them in the skies and brings down a meteor that gives them a stronger lead.
Pyro, what is happening? ATK revitalized, OP seeming to be a little bit more complacent, maybe just punching their ticket to the grand finals and not as focused here in this game. With 16 seconds left, can they even bring it back, or is there going to have to be just a mid-game reset where they take that time to figure out they don't have this game in the bag just yet? ATK loves to take it to all the games possible. And they're wanting to do that. They've got themselves a 2-3 now for Orlando Pirates still, but ATK not out yet. And that was after they looked impotent for a while.
Yeah, the resurgence was there exactly when it was needed, Altruism. I mean, you're looking at a team who, again, I'll say it, hadn't scored for more than 5 minutes of game time. The drought was awful. Orlando Pirates were in the driver's seat, but oh, how quickly that can change. All 3 players from ATK earning a goal there, but can we talk about how dangerous Gizu is looking here? Yeah. He has gotten insane reads from the ground, whether it's a double dare off the ceiling, from the backboard. I mean, that was placed just right to score. You activate players that are confident and calculated as that, and ATK have a chance.
Oh, yeah. You know, every time Gizu starts going up that wall and has some space, I'm just like, what is this guy going to try? Because you don't know. There have been the ground pinches, that clash from the ground. He's always looking for that chance of the flip reset. This guy has one of the deepest arsenals in this game here in SSA, and it is so good to watch him able to create opportunities for himself or being able to find those teammates in the center. He was involved in all 3 of those goals, and when you've got people like Worty or Willu who can come through with that extra little bit of damage, man, this Orlando Pirates side needs to shut him down.
Well, we'll take it off to Neo Tokyo, a map that we haven't seen yet in the playoffs here in the final top 8 bracket of this regional. Finally, we get that game 6. Historically, these 2 teams take each other to the final game of the series in the last 2 meetings. Can ATK earn that game 7 chance against Orlando Pirates to spoil the party and get them out of their second top 2 appearance? They have this game to give themselves that chance.
Oh, the pop towards the center is not good. Happy Meal's there, and he makes it happen there. Just an unfortunate touch in defense. Werty doing so well, but pops it back towards the center, takes it out of the hands of his friend, and just Happy Meal waiting patiently there. An early goal for them is going to settle some nerves, I'm sure.
And that touch from Wordy is very risky. It comes down to the cohesion of your team, communication as well. If your teammates don't know you're popping that in the most dangerous part of the field, then yeah, Happy Meal's going to capitalize. And this is a player, Happy Meal, who in the interview the other day said that the most dangerous thing about ATK is their ability to punish mistakes. Well, guess what? Happy Meal, he's able to do just that as well. Start this game off right, and ATK have to work from the back foot again.
Oh, I mean, mistakes has certainly not been the name of the game. Since that first game where both teams looked a little shaky, it has been very, very few mistakes, and that one costing now ATK. They cannot afford many more of that. They're still on game point here. Orlando Pirates have a little bit of breathing room, but I'm sure that they want to clean it out now. I like him now, trying to find this in the corner. In fact, he and Cam's being caught there. Happy Meal has to make some time. He's got some boost in the tank, gets a lovely 50 back towards the center. Gizu, though, the man that we were talking up earlier, denied his space, and Orlando Pirates back into the attack with some more space for themselves.
Every time ATK try and break past the half-court line, Happy Meal is there to deny. Here he is once again, not only with the winning challenge, but the demolition as well. It was 2 touches earlier on, right on that half-court line. He is truly the guardian of the midfield today for Orlando Pirates, but every time ATK make their advancement past it, they do get some nice scoring chances. Gizu with that tackle. Willu, oh, the hesitation on the decision-making to go back, to go for the ball. It punishes them. Orlando Pirates able to stunt that possession, but only for a bit. Alike him. This is always dangerous. Not able to follow the ball, though, on that aerial pursuit.
Big tussle in the midfield here, turning into a physical all-in-all punching fest as both teams lose people. Cams gets a lovely touch towards the center. Does Happy Meal have that extra touch? No. His first one off the backboard, just denied out by Wurtsy, but they still have Eliakim in reserve. He and Cams working together as they always have the whole time. Eliakim going for that bump now, and Happy Meal alone in the back line. Wurtsy sends it towards the corner. This is a very good opportunity for ATK. They've got that pinch there, but a slow follow-up means they don't have anything. They're going to have to try this time. It gets denied. Eliakim once more, a stalwart in defense.
Took a while, the previous game, for ATK to become activated and start their 3-goal streak. It still is 3 minutes on the game, shaving away that they have not found that goal, but don't count them out just yet. You activate these players on the counterattack, you put Gizu in a double tap position like he is right now, then they can start to attack, but clears defensive mechanisms coming out of Orlando Pirates looking that much stronger. This is a team who knows that they can make top 2. They want to do it again. Wordy, though, left with a lot of time on that ball. No one to collapse upon it from Orlando Pirates. Cam's trying to control this ball, but Gizu there to deny. Once again, Wordy off the backboard. Is there anyone to follow? A shot taker? Nobody. Willu still rotating around, picking up a container, a boost, able to kick this off the backboard. Orlando Pirates on their back line are looking stronger than ever, and if they can contest this away for a minute longer, Altruism, they can have that grand final spot. They won't be able to do so. Gizu threads the needle, kicks it off the post, and gets that friendly roll.
Oh, a long time play coming up there. ATK trying to build that pressure. They get advantage there with Happy Meal not being able to clear it up the side there. It goes backwards, and they make no mistake. They pounce on even the smallest mistake. A minute left in this game. ATK, we can never count them out. They want this so badly. Orlando Pirates can't afford any mistakes right now. They want to put this out. Gizu's going up against Cams in the center. Cams gets a lovely touch, looking for the double. Unfortunately, goes wide for him. Still, I like him waiting here. Looks to just slow it down a little bit. Gets that extra little bump. Gizu reads it perfectly, sets it up onto the backboard. ATK has looked so good right now. But again, hesitating in defense. Instead, setting it up for the next attempt out. Shut down. Sends it long to Gizu. Gizu sets it back in towards the center. And again, the midfield fight continues.
Some smart reads right now defensively coming out of Orlando Pirates, and that's exactly what they need right now. The clairvoyance to be able to cut off the passing plays from ATK. That's when they look their most dangerous, and the interceptions playing well in the favor of Orlando Pirates. Can they make those connections downfield? Cams with a nice shot to the corner, but Gizu takes it away. They want to earn overtime at this point in time because Orlando Pirates looking very dangerous. Happy Meal, that touch not as lethal. Wordy takes away, ball to half-court line. Happy Meal wants to clear out to the corner. The ball rests on the ground. And for, I want to say, a third time in this series, it's been a long series, Altruism. Yeah, we got OT.
Pyro, I can't keep doing this. I said it earlier. I cannot go to Game 7 when we've had more than half of our games in overtime. These overtimes have been short-lived, though, in general, with both teams looking to get on that aggression straight away. This time, it's ATK looking for it. Willu now going to try for a long way down the field. Sorry. Willu rather, being a very, very potent part of this ATK lineup. Gizu's got some space in the center, has to clash out against the Lycan. Cam's now cramped up, has to get it over Wurt. He gets it over 1, still has some boost in the tank, gets the flip reset, pass it over 2. Now Gizu's got to do some work here because his team is not in position to force onto this onslaught that Orlando Pirates is setting up.
Massive save from Wordy. That is simply heroic. Keeping ATK simply on the day, not only in this series, but their last line of life here. You can see it. It's so vulnerable. Every single save is a magical moment for this team, but they've got to turn it around. They're doing just that. Gizu with a touch there. Cam's and Eliakim forced to double commit and take the ball away. Eliakim, though, massive. The Fennec turning into a semi-truck on these 50-50s to instill the possession of Orlando Pirates, still put on their back foot. A meteor, another strike from Gizu is sent away. Eliakim looking for the clear, but the shot goes through! Willow! That's the name to call. ATK, bring us to 7.
Orlando Pirates had it for the first half of the overtime, and then it turned around. ATK, you can never count them out. They are going to come back. They got hold of that possession. They reduced Cam's boost down to nothing and left him sitting in the back line. There was no chance for Orlando Pirates to break out of that entrapment. And ATK close it down bit by bit. Eventually, 8 shots apiece by both of these teams. Now 3 games apiece. We're going to a game 7. I could not have asked for a better clash between these two teams.
Whew. And everything is level-headed, even-footed here, Altruism, as we continue here. The last 2 series, they have gone to game 5 in those best of 5s. Now we're here at game 7, even on the shot counts at 8, even on the save counts at 7. Whew. This isn't the Titan Slayers of ATK. These are 2 Titans matching up. That is the takeaway so far from this series, that ATK, despite their performances in the last regional, only making top 8, they are here to contend for that top 2 spot. And bring it to game 7 is no better indication of that, Altruism.
Man, is it even just a contention for that top 2 spots right now? We've said that Orlando Pirates has been nipping at the heels of MCN the whole time. Reformed, obviously, also in the running. All 4 of these teams deserve to be here. All of them took very clean quarterfinals. These semifinals, though, clashes of, like you say, the Titans. We put it all the way, all our money on Orlando Pirates. The crowd was there for ATK, and both of those votes so well deserved when you see how well these players are going. We are in a timeout right now. Both teams just needing a second to gather their composure. Pyro, what is going to be the differentiating factor here in game number 7?
Oh, I'll tell you what, Orlando Pirates, they're the one to call the time out. So it's important to know that they're the ones re-strategizing right now. I think this is a team that comes into this series as the favorites. It's a team that's matched up with ATK a lot. They've analyzed it. They've talked about it in the interview. How can they work against some of the vulnerabilities that we have seen them? It was some heroic saves that were made on that onslaught during overtime that somehow ATK were able to get away with. Limited disruption on the goal line, though. The bumps and demos that we've seen from Orlando Pirates work previously weren't as present. I wonder if that's something they'll work towards in this game 7. Listen, we can talk about it all the time, Altruism, or we could just watch game 7.
Oh,
folks,
my God!
RLCS of SSA is going to start off with a banger. It is Gizu, the reset, the goal.
Who else but Gizu getting that? That's not even a musty flick anymore. Gets the reset, turns it around, finds the back of his car into the back line. ATK within 6 seconds open up the scoring. It could take 5 minutes. It could take 20, knowing these two teams with their overtimes. But I'm telling you one thing right now. It's going to be tense action till the last goal is in there. Right now, it's gonna be Orlando Pirates. I nearly said bravado because of their history of these two teams. There is so much action right now. I'm even losing my words, but every one of them dedicating to this play.
I mean, we're seeing glimpses of last season, aren't we, Altruism? It is these two former Bravado Gaming players of Happy Meal and Camps contending for that top 2 spot once again. They almost earned the leading goal there from the kickoff. Will Lou now contesting it on the other side. Another pass from the corner does come out, but you know what? This is showing signs earlier of the series as well. Moments where ATK took the lead and then Orlando Pirates would fight right back. This is reminding me of the game that went 5-5 and took it to overtime. So is this going to be the fireworks show once again in Game 7? I don't know. But one thing I know now is these two teams even at 1.
Oh man, that would be the dream, right? Let's get us a high-scoring series. Both these teams certainly seem intent on it, pushing that goal line, pushing that limit every time. Gizu has work to do. He doesn't get it far. Ligam gets up a decent touch there. Happy Meal now. He's got Cam waiting in the center, but neither of them decide to commit to this. They've got rather that patience behind it. Instead, pulls out Gizu, who's now trapped in the Orlando Pirates goal. Leaves it up to Werty, who doesn't make a mistake there, keeping that goal line level. Gizu now having rejoined the fight, pushing back towards the center. I like him. He's there. He's got the shot, and it goes wide.
Unbelievable. Is contending against 2 defenders there. They're trying to take away the shooting lane once again, but it won't be that time. It is Cams to find a dish from Happy Meal, finds the better of the challenge, and you cannot stop an Orlando Pirates team that's firing on all cylinders.
How cheeky is Happy Meal? You go to Game 7, you're level at a piece, and you fake out the shot there with the defender committing towards it, and the defender has to. Now Gizu looking to turn it back towards the center. He gets a decent pop, but I like him reading that quickly. Still, Wilu trying to get it back towards Gizu, make the magic happen there. Both of these teams looking for extra new creativity in every way possible. 2 of the 3 goals have come from incredible plays. In fact, I would argue to say all 3 of them coming through the most cheeky plays so far. And yet still half a game to go here, depending on who's going to get to that grand final spots.
Oh, it is there for the taking for either team right now. ATK getting the opening goal, but allowing Orlando Pirates to really break out here. Wordy trying to beat both defenders, and Willu there to follow. A massive response right now for ATK to keep this Game 7 alive.
Gizu dragging 2 people into the corner there. Werty with the awareness that he's not going to get it past Cams, clashing across the goals there. Gets the pass off the upright, puts it back in towards the center, and you could not ask Wilu to get in a better shot than that's 2 goals apiece here. Half a game to go. Now it's Orlando Pirates. History is repeating itself. 1 back and forth between these 2 teams. I think ATK are going to be the ones who are going to want to set this up. They've got a chance here. Gizu makes no mistake, gets it out of the corner. An inopportune time for Happy Meal to just pop this out towards the center. Comes down. Gravity not his friend, but it is the friend of ATK, led by Gizu.
Giz is so vigilant on that shot as well. You saw Eliakim rotating to back post but from not the direction that would cover that back post slot. Gizu puts it in the only position that Eliakim would be ill-positioned to save. There is just so much game knowledge that comes with this highly mechanical player as well of Gizu that is showing face during this most clutch moment of the series. Could he be that one leading factor right now for ATK? They've got 2 goals here to take the lead. The question is, can they hold on?
Oh man, this creativity coming out now. If I had to put a man of the match right now, it would have to be Gizu here from ATK, matching up against the Lion, the stalwart in defense, who's been doing so much work to try and deny these opportunities. Now it's Eliakim again. He's trying to get it back towards Happy Meal. That's a bad place to put it. It's in the center. Gizu unable to find that open net there. Would have almost surely clinched it here for ATK. Instead, now Orlando Pirates on the offense. Happy Meal's got control. He's got the boost. He's backed up by Eliakim. It goes on the backboard. Cam's there. Happy Meal's there. The shots coming in fast and furious, but every one of them denied.
How? Oh, unbelievable. ATK turning on attack mode from their own goal line. Everybody there to contend, while their defense looking like a solid wall. We've seen too many vulnerabilities right now from Orlando Pirates. The latest counterattack from ATK with an open net was missed, but despite the missed shot, it is emblematic of the missing defense from Orlando Pirates that we've seen throughout this series. In a way, they are giving and handing the opportunities to ATK, but an opportunity for a shot. It's not what ATK need anymore. It is to continue that solid line of defense, bat away every ball. Willu trying to keep this out of dangerous territory. Cams with a shot to take it past, but Wordy with the clear. They survive a second more.
Somehow Orlando Pirates already up to 10 shots, but they've not got enough goals just yet. Cam's looking for this one. He hands it off to Happy Meal. The two of them clashing in the air, unable to get a powerful shot in. And in the final 10 seconds, Orlando Pirates, they had 3 game points to work with. And ATK fighting till the last. We said it was going to go down to the last couple of seconds. Orlando Pirates now, they want to bring this back. They've worked so hard for this. It goes on the backboard. Happy Meal's up. It clangs down, flashes for a second. But it is ATK who will be going on to their grand finals.
I have to talk, otherwise I'm speechless. Altruism, are you kidding me? That shot ringing off of the crossbar, landing on the goal line at the final second. That is the one sign you need. That is the one showing to display what went on this entire series, that it was so tightly knitted. It was so level-headed. It was so close throughout the match. In Game 7, ATK have spoiled the party from Orlando Pirates. They will not make the grand finals. An excellent course for ATK to solidify that top 2 spot.
All 3 of us on the panel said Orlando Pirates was going to take that, and with some confidence, but I don't think a single one of us is going to be upset at the way this ended up there. ATK coming through with just a masterclass of defensive work in the back line to hold it together against what can only be described as an onslaught here from Orlando Pirates. I am exhausted after that. And Pyro, you got to still go on to another semifinals. This is the first series of the day. I'm glad I get a break before that grand finals, but I can tell you what, both of these teams deserve to be there. And what a game that we get there. Proxy, are you happy with that showing?
Absolutely, I'm happy with that showing. I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I fell off a few times. Thankfully, the camera wasn't on to me, but it was an absolutely phenomenal series from both teams. In all honesty, I mean, there's massive moments. Again, I mean, Happy Meal with the back-to-back finishes, the goals back-to-back. Gaizu, hello? what happened there? Just all of a sudden, it's like they popped an energy drink there in the final 2 series. It was just goal after goal after goal being set up for the likes of ATK, and it was gorgeous. It was a beautiful series and a very surprising series. Pyro, we go back to that upset. We go back to that storyline that's been building for ATK this entire weekend. They lost to OP in the Swiss round. They came back. They had to fight their way into these playoffs to get to this point. And now, in the final BO7, they take the dub.
Wow. You know, it brings me back to last season of the RLCS. There was one time where it wasn't the acclaimed top 2 of the last season, you know, Water, who became Bravado Gaming and Orlando Pirates, and it was ATK. They were the one team to have a grand finals showing, and here they are this season, again, of course, of a different makeup, but still with that same dangerous aura to them that they can take down truly anybody to get to that standpoint. And it feels like this revenge tour has been set up from the beginning. I mean, even during the first regional, they went to Game 5 against Orlando Pirates again and again, disappointed with their performance. Now they bring it to that last game and win out by the closest of margins. It's all too sweet for this ATK team.
I mean, Altruism, if we just take a look at the story just from the series alone, even if we don't think about whatever else they've had to fight through in this weekend, ATK jumping in with a beautiful back-to-back goals, and then we start to talk about that whole Orlando Pirates taking that first game to sort of suss out the competition, see what they can go with, and, you know, a little bit of a slower start to OP, but then we were only talking about the Pirates. We were only talking about the Pirates taking those wins. Even with our ridiculous overtimes, it was always Orlando Pirates coming out on top, and then yet even in the last stretches of it, in the reverse sweep moments, ATK still had that mentality to back themselves into those final 3 games to come back stronger. And I mean, for them to do that, the level of mentality, it's ridiculous.
It's incredible. I don't know how these players are able to keep it calm. Their controllers must be dripping by now, because just sitting here, I was bouncing, I was shaking. I would not have been able to make a clean touch at any stage, and these guys were bringing out more than clean touches. They were bringing out new mechanics there. That first Gizu goal there with the musty attempt that somehow still slid off his back bumper in there. There was so much depth from this ATK side. There was so much resilience to be able to withstand shot after shot of Orlando Pirates, the team renowned for that pressure, and then turn around in a second, find their way across the field, get that awareness to go for the pass instead of the straight shot in there. Every moment was alive and sparkling here from this ATK lineup, and man, did they put on a show. What a pleasure to get to watch them at work.
And the pleasures continue. As we know, we have a lovely, lovely interview lined up, of course, coming through. What a massive setup. What a way to start off a BO7, to come back after every single game and still know that you're going to be taking that W. I mean, how are you feeling? How are you actually still not shaking? I'm shaking and I'm just sitting and watching. How are you doing, Wurty?
I've had about 3 heart attacks in the last hour, honestly. I think I need some medical attention, but yeah, it was one hell of a series. I mean, GG's to Pirates. They've played insanely well. I think we knew what we had to do. We talked about it in between games, and the boys came through. I mean, what else do you want from your teammates, honestly?
It was massive. It was massive. I mean, we have to really just give it up to you guys. But I mean, altruism. What's the first thing you're going to ask this crazy man that's sitting right next to us?
Man, yesterday you said that you were feeling this team, that it took you a couple of weeks to settle in as a roster, and I think there can be no doubt that you guys know what you're doing at this stage. This is ATK at his peak performance. So I got to give the compliment out there before I start badgering you with questions. So well done to that. But I got to say, was it getting more frenetic at the end there when you just realized you had such a mountain to climb? Or did they just get the sense of calm in the background? I've got to know what's going on in your minds in that calm room.
I think it got calmer as we went along. The first couple of games weren't necessarily stressful. Comms were really calm, collected. Everyone seemed very level-headed. The only time I'd say we showed stereotypical types of stress was probably the last 20 seconds of that game 7. That was very, very stressful. But it was important that we ensured everybody just relaxed. Just play your game. You don't have to stress. You know, you win, you lose, you lose. But well done to them, genuinely.
Fair enough. I mean, Wordy, it's a pleasure to talk to you again. I mean, congratulations again on the win. It's great to see you back here. I doubted you twice in a row now on predictions. So, you know, You don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. It's fine. I understand. I've learned my lesson now. You know what I mean? But, Wordy, I'm especially excited to talk to you because to me, you were the guardian of the goal line. Whenever there was a leaping, diving, legendary save to be made, it was you. Can you please bring us into the mind of a defender like yourself? How do you make those saves, whether it's on low boost, on high boost, whatever it is? What is going through your mind in those moments?
I mean, it's very easy to make these plays happen and all of this because when you have teammates that you can rely on, when everyone understands their role, what they need to do, it's easy having so much faith. You just have to do what you need to do, nothing more, nothing less, and you can leave. You can be a very happy person with how the team is playing as a whole. It makes life a lot easier for an individual.
I mean, you guys were absolutely mental. We were talking about it, just the mentality that you have to keep coming back, to just stay calm. I mean, even in those last couple of seconds, as we mentioned, I mean, the ball was only on your side. It was right in front of your goal line, hit after hit after hit after hit. And yet there was constantly an answer from you guys just to bring it back and still to say, well, we're still going to score. No matter what, we're still going to score. I mean, in those final moments, tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, were there any ears that were hurt? Were the comms that loud? were you dying a little bit in the backside, hoping that you can take a break a little bit afterwards?
It wasn't so bad in terms of gameplay comms, but as soon as that ball hit the ground, I think my neighbors are gonna complain for the next couple of days because it was amazing. It felt really good, especially like after a very long time of being in a finals. But yeah, it was enjoyable, very fun.
You guys must be ecstatic, right? I can only imagine right now. I'm sitting with the biggest smile on my face because of that series. But now the big thing comes in. This is the first time you guys have gotten to the finals in a while. And this was a big upset, or at least a big challenge, a mental block that you had to go through, going down in the final game the last 2 times. You say you guys are feeling it right now. You certainly showed up on the day. Is this the peak of ATK right now? And how do you feel going into that grand finals? Is this the same tempo you're going, or is this just the beginning of everything you're going to bring out and there's still more to see?
I feel like we didn't play as well as we could have. I feel like we played well enough for what we needed to do. We understood what we had to do. It was more like sort of a university pass, just 50%. Not a distinction, but there's a lot more in the tank. It's very trial and error because no one has beaten a grand final. All my 2 teammates haven't. So we want to make an extremely good first impression. We think we can do very well, but it's trial and error. Whatever the result is, I'm more than happy with what we've done over these last 4 weeks, basically. It's insane growth from the boys.
I think you have great reason to be happy with your distance so far, but there is that one final step at the grand finals. I'll ask you very bluntly, Wordy, who do you want to play? It's going to be Reformed or may contain Nuts. Who do you want to see in the grand finals?
I'd say Reformed, because why not? They took us out in the quarterfinals last regional, so it would be a lot of fun to have a nice little rematch of that.
No, absolutely.
I like that.
Massive.
Rematch.
No, the rematch is going to be good. It would be a massive opportunity. And again, we have to thank you, Phil, for jumping up and coming to talk to us for a little bit. It's massive to see you guys here making it through into the finals. And we hope that we're going to be maybe a bit more surprised later on when we actually move into those games. So we'll leave you now to prepare. We'll leave you now to get your strength ready and hopefully to just get your ears prepped for the comms that might follow up. But thank you so much for joining us and all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of the stream.
Fantastic. I mean, SSA, when we talk about it, some of the friendliest people, wouldn't you say, Pyro?
I would say so. I mean, Wordy, he even talked to me after I doubted his team twice in a row. So I'd say that's very kind of him to do so. But, I don't think I'm going to make that mistake again. It depends on who they beat in the grand finals. We'll see. But yeah, to have that level-headedness after such an insane game 7, best of 7 is admirable at the very least.
I mean, I keep thinking back into my head. If I was in that situation, if I was seeing, all of these balls flying off, I mean, I wouldn't have any sort of mentality to be able to sit back down and be like, okay, well, we have a job to do. We have to come back. We have to get game after game after game to get us in a winning shot and then still have that hope that even after all of the OTs, even after all of the goals, I mean, we had 11 goals in one of the games, for Pete's sakes. I mean, come on, in a semi-final? That's absolutely ridiculous, but they came back nonetheless. So now, of course, we're going to take a short break while we all get set up, while Pyro gets himself ready for another series to follow after such an insane one. It is, of course, going to be just a short break. But Altruism, thank you. See you back in a little bit. And for the rest of the viewers, get that popcorn ready. This next series is going to be just as cracking. Welcome back, everyone, to the RLCS Full Cup, and of course, we've been joined by a bit of a jester this time around. I mean, what are we going with here? What's the theme, Greybeard?
It's Halloween. This is my go-to Halloween outfit. I've been wearing it every year for Halloween for the last 6 years, and so this is my homage to the season, to Halloween. And what a day we've had! I mean, we were talking about what are the chances of an ATK reformed final, and they were very low, but suddenly not so much.
No, suddenly we've had an ATK reverse sweep. And I mean, that was a ridiculously close series. I mean, 3 out of the 7 games finished in OT. We had 11 goals in one of our matches. I think it was match number 3, moving into massive cheeky shots there in the final game. The fact that we got there just shows how close these teams have really been putting in their efforts. They've been bringing in the action, and of course, it's not going to stop anytime soon. My name is Proxy, and I'll be your host, of course, joined by the wonderful in disguise Greybeard and Pyro as we move into the next fantastic series, which is of course going to be May Contain Nuts up against Reformed in their rematch for the semi-finals. As we take a look at that team comparison, let's start talking about what we are in for. We know that we were not expecting Reformed to be taking that 3-1 in the Swiss round against May Contain Nuts, but now Pyro, they're back at it again. They have to do this again if we want to see that Reformed at ATK final.
Listen, as Proxy, I had the massive pleasure of being able to watch firsthand the match against Reformed and May Contain Nuts, and somehow, some way, Reformed were able to contain that team. The 3 wins they had were shutouts. The shooting percentage of May Contain Nuts that series was not 20, not 10, it was 7.4%. That is so rare for a team like May Contain Nuts. Limiting that shooting and finding them on the back foot could be key to Reformed, among a whole slew of other things.
Oh, it is huge. I mean, you're in the lucky seat. The fact that you got to watch that match, I mean, the rest of us was salivating at the opportunity, and you just hit the jackpot. But Greybeard, as we talked about it, right? I mean, Altruism will never live it down, and I will never let him live it down. The fact that he thought that obviously this was going to go the way we all thought it was going to go, but Reformed came back and they said, no, not today. I mean, the players of, Reformed coming back and just being able to take that winning shot. I mean, talk us through what a beautiful lineup that you have.
Well, I think, when we started the split, the first regional, there were questions. There were more questions than any kind of answers. And we needed that first regional to get a sense of where we are. And after that, it was like, okay, clearly the May Contain Nuts team, they're still way up there at the top. Orlando Pirates firmly second, and then a messy middle. Now we're not entirely sure. MCN losing in the Swiss stage, which we can often make the mistake of making too big a deal of, but against the team that they're now going to face up. Now Orlando Pirates out to ATK. Do we have answers, or they're just more questions? But I love the fact that there is uncertainty, and there has to be uncertainty going into the second semi-final, because Reformed have done it once, which means it can be done. On any other day we say definitely not, but it's been done before, and it was done just 2 days ago. And this Reformed team, with the experience of Skill Steel and the grinding of Mr. Lowe and the youth of Archeon, Pyro, you were smelling out the upsets. We've had one, and why not another?
Look, there's massive opportunity, absolutely. And for the viewers in chat, well, you need to help us out here, because our last set of predictions really didn't go very well. So please hit us up with your thoughts. Who do you think is going to be taking this next series? Is it going to be Reformed or MCN? Use the hashtag RFM if you want to be backing up Reformed, or hashtag MCN if you think that May Contain Nuts are coming back for their revenge and obviously heading through into the finals. Pyro, I'm going to ask you again, I mean, what are the potential cracks in the defense of MCN that Reform can once again utilize to bring themselves another W and to bring us the craziest final that we weren't expecting?
Well, I hit on one of the points. That was the shooting percentage of May Contain Nuts being under 10%. That was coupled with the fact that Snowy and To Die For hadn't scored a single goal that entire match. So catching them off of their groove might be key, but there were a couple other things from Reformed as well that they hit the mark on. Skill Steal's impact is incredible. Being on play at all times is very important, that presence on the field. Secondly, some of the cherry picking demos on the goal line that they had were very influential as well. I'm keeping an eye on those two things as well in this match.
Well, the viewers are definitely giving us a very good idea of who they're going to be backing. 64% to Reformed in chat right now. So May Contain Nuts, I mean, regardless of all of their statistics, it seems the viewers really want to have this upset. But Greybeard, we do know a little bit better. We know the history of May Contain Nuts. We know what kind of monsters these players are going to be bringing to the table. And the players, the experience they have, we talk about it time and time again. I mean, do you really think they're going to just be taking this on their stride, coming through as the big bad guy, the people no one wants to win? They're going to say, it doesn't matter. We're going to be taking it nonetheless. Well,
I think chat has they went in favor of 80K. They were right there. I can't see them being right here. But you know what? I'm going with MCN because history dictates that that's what's going to happen. But hey, who knows? They're coming out onto the field now, so we're going to know in the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Well, as I hand it over to our casters, I'm going to have you do your predictions on that side of things. So let us know who you're going to be thinking is going to be taking this series. But of course, for the second time today, let's give it over to our fantastic casters. It's Pyro coming off the back of a crazy series and Arabian.
Yo, Pyro. Well, I just hope we get something as sensational as that last series. I mean, what a series for you to be on. It was just fantastic watching. So if it's anything close to that, I'll be happy. They're out on the field and away we go.
So many things to consider in this matchup, Greybeard. The MCN one single loss in this season, and it is to this team of Reformed. Can they be that kryptonite, as that was the only single time this season that these two teams have met? In those 3 games that Reformed were able to win, they limited May Contain's not scoring to 0 goals. That shutout potential of Reformed could be the key to their victory as we finally begin this highly anticipated best of 7.
All right, well, here we are, 30 seconds in. No major action one way or the other. But, as time goes on, Pyro, I mean, these players just get to know each other more and more and more. So it's got to get quite hard to, sort of keep them guessing when, you're scrimming with each other. You know each other in real life. Some of them are friends. And so you got to get quite ingenious. Look at this work. Oh, my word, To Die For, right down in front of the net. His teammate, no one there to take advantage. But man, oh man, what an asset To Die For is to be able to pull off those sorts of plays.
Got it. So many players to watch out for in this matchup. Of course, you allude to the fact that Skill Steal has 2 former teammates on the field right now of Darth and Snowy. He knows their abilities, but I would argue he knows To Die For even more. He has been the player, Skill Steal, that has matched up against him so many times last season. Here they are once again faced off against each other with Skill Steal trying to deny To Die For of everything he has. Darth there for the shot. Darth, another player to keep your eye on as well, as he had the 2 only goals against Reformed in their last meeting. It's them off the backboard. Snowy shot denied by Mr. Lowe. The defensive presence of Reformed still there, still palpable.
Well, one of the big takeaways from that Swiss defeat of MCN was how much they were shut out, how they struggled to score, and you've made that point, and that's going to be playing on the mind of Nuts. They're going to want to score, and they're going to do it now through To Die For. It happens, and they will be most pleased to get themselves on the board. Darth with the long-distance pass of the backboard and a pinch-perfect finish from To Die For.
Well, and the defense needs to look a little less shaky from Reformed if they truly want to shut out this May Contain Nuts team once again, because allowing the backboard to be that free will be their demise. It occurs once again. The pass out from Snowy finds To Die For, as he is there for the shot every time.
Okay, To Die For making a business now of just being sure to be at the end of a pass. First from Darth, now from Snowy. May Contain Nuts, 2 goals up.
Beautifully done off the kickoff, looking for more revenge. Our may contain nuts. They will earn just that. And this is the start you're looking for the proposed top team of SSA, making their prowess known, slotting to die for in every shooting position, already in this game with a hat trick.
I think this game was 0-0 at about 3 minutes 30. So in the last 45 seconds, May Contain Nuts have opened the floodgates. A to die for hat trick, but importantly, team plays. And my word, to die for now. Saving off. Oh no, it's an own goal. Archeon gets the credit, but I'm not sure the player it came off. The back pass off the backboard. Archeon finds himself there. Oh dear, nothing Snowy could do. Bounces off the back of his car into the net.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you learn the hard lesson of being on the other side of your own goal line, knocking that ball in. Skillsteal's presence, though, quite instrumental on that play, trying to read it off of the crossbar, allowed Snowy no room to really move or maneuver around that play. Skillsteal always there for the follow-up to die for. Are you kidding me? What is this? Some kind of pop off the flip reset that allows for that shot elevation and a fourth goal from the die for.
That was such a low flip reset. So hard to read at that distance and at that height, but perfectly executed and to die for with his fourth. And that was simply filthy.
I mean, at this point, this is a revenge tour for May Contain Nuts. Okay, they're coming into this series thinking, okay, Reform, you found us on one back foot. You are not going to find us like that again. Not in this top 4 scenario. We're not missing a top 2. We're not missing a chance at the grand finals. Oh, Darth is going to steal that goal to die for there for the follow. But Darth says, come on now, share the wealth.
Oh, you know, but to die for involved in the play. And I'm starting to get the feeling here, it starts to feel a little bit like a May Contain Nuts statement game. They want to stamp some authority and say, you know what, well done for your work on Swiss, but you're gonna have to wake up very early to take us a second time.
I mean, the most surprising thing about that match in which May Contain Nuts were upset was their lack of scoring, and that speaks to Reform defense being able to be there and the positioning on offense as well instrumental. Mr. Lowe kind of threatening a redirect. The final touch is going to allow that ball to trickle in.
Oh, wow. I think there was a fake there. The shot from Skillsteal at distance and then the fake in front of the net, confusing the last player. It goes in. May Contain Nuts not having it all their own way. And Reformed still here to put up their hands, to show up and make a statement about them and what they intend to do. And let's not get too carried away, of course. This is a best of 7, the marathon of Rocket League competitive interactions. So there's a long distance here so far. May Contain Nuts looking solid, but Reformed will refuse to be rolled over.
They most certainly will. We remember all the back and forth that we saw between ATK and Atlanta Pirates. If that top 4 scenario exists once again in this series, then surely Reformed will have an answer. They've had an answer in the form of 2 goals already, so they do have a chance at maybe finding a third here. No, it is actually Snowy to try and press up against them. Mr. Lowe, a touch now maybe on their counterattack, but Mr. Lowe out of boost. Skillsteal having the midfield presence. He's got the ball, but also eliminated from the stage. Mr. Lowe trying to keep this possession going because they need to have a firefight in this last 30 seconds, but it's seeming all unlikely.
Oh my word. Two players going after that attempted clear, both missing. And I think that probably taking Nuts by surprise, unable to capitalize. Maybe now a late goal for Reformed if they can get control. But in the meantime, to die for. And it's got to strike terror in your heart every time he gets hold of the ball. He'll get his 5th, and man, he is on fire.
5 goals, 1 assist to die for with 100% goal participation. Feed the beast at this point, because to die for will not be beaten. Not in his first game, and what it's looking like, not in the rest of this series. Reformed not only needing a response against this high-powered May Contain Nuts team, but singularly against to die for in an excellent showing for the start of this best of 7. May Contain Nuts starting ahead early.
May Contain Nuts, I think, have just scored 3 times their entire goal tally in that game. Their series they lost to Reformed, and they've got it in one single game. Absolutely an emphatic win. Great start for them. It was pretty even Stevens for the first minute and a half, but once they got the opener, once To Die For found that backboard pass from Darth, it was the floodgates. And there was response from Reformed. There's certainly life there. They've certainly got capacity and ability, but it looks to me early on, May Contain Nuts come here to play serious Rocket League.
There's 2 takeaways from this first game. Number 1 is that, yes, Reform did have an answer. They are still very much in this series to perform as they did in the last games. They would score 1 or 2 points for the win. But the second and the greatest takeaway for me is that almost everything in that last matchup that Reform were able to upset is all washed away with this game right here. To Die For having 0 goals or goal participation in that last series, now having 5 on the mark of game 1. If he scored 2 or 3, I'm saying, okay, we got a series on our hands. 5 goals To Die For. You cannot allow what could arguably be the most dangerous player in this region to be activated like that. If he's starting this hot, this early, Greybeard, that is a sign of danger for Reformed.
It most certainly is, and that's the player they're going to have to watch, and watch him hard, because man, is he on fire.
There's a reason that Darth and Snowy picked up this player of To Die For, an absolute unit when it comes to, starting off early, but it's gonna be Reformed instead, catching May Contain Nuts off guard from the kickoff, their first lead in this series.
My word, all of 7 seconds right off the kickoff. That's an excellent start for them. They have a lead. They're first in game 2. And Pyra, I said this with you yesterday. Aquadome for me is the RNG map. And that might be good for Reform to use to their advantage. And it is high in the air, intercepted. Snowy going to pick up the follow. Very patient, picks up the follow. A little bit of a heavy touch allows it to be cleared. But so far, in game 2, May Contain Nuts trying to find an opening. The net is open if they can get there in a hurry. The pass off the back. The attempted shot is wide. With the follow is going to be saved away. And the first real shot in anger from May Contain Nuts is saved.
But immediately Reformed are stifled on their attack. That is a demolition on them. The shot is broken up, and you can tell how well May Contain Nuts are able to play defensively. But what on this transition here? The midfield pass intercepted as well. To Die For to try and clear away. Mr. Lowe with an inkling of boost, though, still to harass Snowy on their flight against the grain. Skill Steal has an opening here, pops it up. He does have Archeon on the follow. To Die For so patient defensively. There's a cross from the width of the field there. To Die For almost having a shot. Every moment feeling lethal for either team right here, Greybeard, in this game number 2.
Ooh, this is very awkward. There's been a bump by Darth. The shot is intercepted, blocked away. But it is Nuts on the rampage. They're going to have another opportunity here. Glides across the net, nothing in there. Here they come again. Darth trying to get round for the angle, doesn't find it. And now the counter-attack may well be on, and I just wonder, we saw it with White Rabbit Gaming yesterday. A couple of times they scored early against May Contain Nuts, and I wonder if it's an advantage or a disadvantage when you score early against this team, because there seems like so much time to have to defend, and that's where Reformed are now, hanging on to their 1-goal lead for now, and they're getting closer and closer. May Contain Nuts, and they are building that stifling pressure.
I recognize that for White Rabbit Gaming on their match yesterday, that they had that early lead that May Contain Nuts were able to work against. It's like a perceived comfort level for that team to have the lead early on, to have some shred of dominance, but then May Contain Nuts and their endurance is able to come through. Mr. Lowe so big near the goal line, trying to get that 50 to get a second goal now for Reformed. But what I will say about this team is it's not a perceived level of comfort. It's not fake confidence. This team has been here before. They've been at the point where they were able to shut out May Contain Nuts on multiple occasions. They have found the tools to do that. They can do this here again. They can score up the tally and again rack up another goal, but that shot going to be saved away. May Contain Nuts, they do not want to offer another scoring chance to Reform.
And my concern here is they gave Archeon so much time to have a free shot at the goal. They were kind of almost backing up, and it was really causing some strife for them. But now they've managed to work their way out. To Die For, it's fear, it's terror, but it does go wide.
Oh man, it is fear indeed set the eyes of Reformed, but they know what is to come of this May Contain Nuts team. If not for the one of their series for this first game one of this series, 6 goals have been depleted to simply 0. But 2 minutes left and a team bump on the side of Reformed. That communication needing to be well earned. I'm looking out at Skill Steal and Archeon on that team bump and wondering, okay guys, get in form, get in communication, because the one vulnerability that exposed itself multiple times in their series was Archeon and Skill Steal again and again, double committing. Wonderful pass here to Snowy, trying to slot it top corner, but can't find it just yet.
All right, 1 minute and 15 to go. Reformed, I mean, they scored their goal 7 seconds in, so they've done magnificently well to hang on to it. But they got another minute to go. It's passed right in front. Where it is, Darth with the finish. I was wondering where the backup player was. And Snowy just takes it right across on the ground, never in the air at any moment until it rolled up the wall and across the line. And Darth will finish. And we have a level game.
Patience is a virtue for May Contain Nuts. It took 4 minutes of gameplay, and it took Snowy very slowly making his way towards the goal line to make that happen, to dive for again. Space off the kickoff. Very weary thing there for Reformed. And there's the double commit from Archeon and Skill Steal again. That is the one thing that is going to battle against them. Darth actually takes this infield. He wants a shot on target, cannot find it. Game still tied here, 30 seconds to go. Reformed, they need another chance to even the series.
Yeah, and a couple of examples of miscommunication. The double commit on the one side and attack, and then two play. Oh my word, the net's open. Oh my word, to dive for gets the credit, but that just rolled long distance. To dive for was really just, maybe to give him credit, he probably saw the open net and knew that he just had to get it on target with enough speed, because everybody from Reformed was up. And after leading this game for close on 4 solid minutes, Reformed find themselves a goal behind.
You alluded to it earlier, Greybeard. This May Contain Nuts team, despite them going down early in the game at times, they are able to rival their way back. They've done that and leave only 10 seconds on the clock now for Reform to take this the other way. Low with boost, does get past it, but not without being eliminated from the stage. Down from the ceiling, takes a meteor there. Mr. Low cannot pick it up. Snowy with all the boost in the world to take this ball back to the ground. May Contain Nuts go 2-0 in the series, but this game, Greybeard, a little closer than the last.
Yeah, it wasn't a complete walk, and that Reformed had the early start, and held on to it for long. But I mean, we spoke a little bit about it, about the scoring early against May Contain Nuts is a blessing and a curse, because there is so long to go, and May Contain Nuts are not going to panic going behind early. They know they can build up the attack and slowly suck the air out of their opponents. But it was a close game, a 1-goal game, and Reformed will hopefully be encouraged by that, but they will be disappointed they couldn't hang on to the end.
Yeah, hanging on. They were so close to do it. And I'll tell you what, one of my keys to success here for Reformed was making last series alive and palpable again. What happened for May Contain Nuts is they had a 7.4 shooting percentage in the series that Reformed were able to upset them. It actually took May Contain Nuts 10 registered shots to get that first goal. So their shooting percentage, once again, close to that single-digit statistic, but they were still able to take away the win. With all the pressure they're able to maintain, they are able to still rack up enough goals against Reformed. It feels like they're going to need to be able to be activated a little more on offense to be able to contend against May Contain Nuts and their scoring potential.
Yeah, but they are being aggressive. They are piling on the shots. 12 shots in game 1, 14 shots in game 2. So they're out shooting Reform by some distance. But it will be a concern that they're only winning by 1 goal with all of those shots being piled on. But my word, it's tough out there for Reform. This is such a key game. You don't want to be 3 down. That is the really difficult mountain to climb if it happens.
And I think that's why the timeout was called. I don't think we mentioned that, but Reform did call that timeout between these games. They realized that a reverse sweep against the reigning regional champions of this region is, well, in a best of 7, nearly impossible. So that is a situation that they do not want to find themselves in. And game 3 feels like more of just another game in this series, but a much needed game in this series. So very important for Reformed to call the timeout, whether the effects learn from what they did between game 1 and game 2 because it looked much better for them. Can they trend upwards yet again to find a win? We hop into game 3 to find out.
All right, and away they go. It's a good kickoff for May Contain Nuts, but Skillsteal's got it now, coming down off the ceiling. He's got the flip, but he can't catch up with the ball and make any use of it, so that'll give it to Snowy. That's on target, but Archeon, easy touch away, but already pressure building from May Contain Nuts. This has got awkward very quickly. Oh, a double commit, and then a miscommunication between Low and Archeon. It gets awkward very quick, but they survive for now. But May Contain Nuts, they are calmly trying to build even more pressure right down in front of the net. Mr. Low with the magic 50 does finally get the clear.
You've got to love that the timeout is supposed to sort the chaos and calm things down. And then we get this start in game number 3. Just actual terror for Reformed. It all ends in a goal for to die for. The one simple consistency of this match. May Contain Nuts able to start off hot.
Wow, well, it's a game to die for. Getting himself on the end of the passes, understanding where his team are going, where they're going to put the ball, and being sure to be there. Snowy's missed a defensive play, and Archeon will pounce and level it up immediately after kickoff.
Rare vulnerabilities will be exposed in this defense of May Contain Nuts. You have 2 players that are 6-time regional champions of the last season, and another player to die for 3-time regional champion. That consistency is led on to what they're able to play out defensively. But Snowy, that is a touch that he's going to want back, and it's going to offer Archeon that first shot, that equalizer. Reformed happy to stay in the running at the beginning of this game, setting up another play, but Skillsteal not quick to the punch.
All right, Snowy with the long distance clear. Mr. Low, he's alone. He has to get a firm, proper touch on that. He does, but it's going to get picked up by Darth. And it has seemed to have kind of leveled out to a degree, but the Nuts team have the advantage on the, I think, the pressure plays and the building of pressure to die for. Oh, he had that Archeon with an important defending off the backboard to get that clear.
But you're right about the pressure, Graybeard. The shots are 7-1 in favor of May Contain Nuts. To have 7 shots in the first 2 minutes, not even, is a lot for Reformed to handle. They have to feel exhausted already with not even the halfway mark passed in this game. But it does speak to this team's resilience. Skillsteal, one of those players most assuredly to make those stops. Can't get there, Mr. Low. The next up, Archeon able to find an interception as well. But what a play from Darth to stay on this ball and keep the head swiveling from Reformed, making them second guess every stance that they take. However, Mr. Low is looking for a conversion to Archeon off of the sidewall. He's got all that boost, but with a light touch, it's out to Skillsteal, looking for that double tap. Darth, no, Snowy, great backboard defense to cut it off, not giving Skillsteal the time of day.
All right, they are, well, we've made the comment, they're very good at building the pressure, they're very good at having shots on goal. There's one there, Archeon with the save. If they can improve even just a little bit that conversion rate, they should be dominating these games, whereas Reformed are having to be on defense, looking for those opportunities. They defend very well here, and that's a positive for them. I mean, they're keeping out most of the shots, but, you know, when you're putting on 12, 14 shots in a 5-minute game, you know, you just need to make a mistake twice to find yourself behind. And that's kind of where we are with Reformed at the moment.
Well, Skillsteal's trying to force those mistakes right now on May Contain Nuts. We're seeing the strategy that they utilized in the past series against May Contain Nuts. Those cherry-picking demolitions start to raise their ugly head once again. Skillsteal had moved way up the field to find that demo, but couldn't find anyone. You're looking at May Contain Nuts, maybe learning from that last match and knowing that those demolitions are coming and implementing that evasiveness to look out for them and not let those work again for Reformed. But a missed touch on the backboard almost leaves it available for Mr. Low. He can't find it. Skillsteal keeping this team alive, though, not allowing them to be counterattacked upon once again to die for safe to the corner.
Yeah, from the position I was looking at it from, it looked for all money that was going to be in to die for. Just gets a touch away, but that was looking pretty threatening. potential possibilities there for Reformed. But this is a better passage of play for them. It's been a good period. They've been able to get it over to the MCN side and build up some kind of pressure rather than just having to do the work on defense. And now a scramble in midfield opens up a shot on net. Snowy recovers, gets back, and gets the save.
Snowy, an MVP performance right there, keeping his team on top. Can he make another diving save? He can, to the top corner. There's no getting around this player. You can hound him with the bumps. You can set up these shots top corner. Still, he will bat that ball away. Reformed, it's taking their top quality to put shots that will go through the back line. So far, Snowy, the lone defender, keeping it away. Now Dart setting up an air dribble bump, cannot connect on that bump to dive for next up the backboard. No read to be had with the Archeon clear.
Well, game 1 was pretty much a runaway win for Nuts. Game 2 was a lot closer. But this game, with 10 seconds to go, we may be looking at our first overtime, and certainly the closest of the games, despite the shot advantage coming out from May Contain Nuts. Reformed have kept it in, and we do indeed have a game 3 overtime, and away they go. Is it going to be one of those insta overtimes, or will we see an epic? Oh, there's a double commit by the Nuts team in attack, and now a demo may open things up on the other side. Darth can only push it back to his own corner. Okay, well, this is looking very scrappy from May Contain Nuts. They survive it for now, but they got to get themselves back to their usual efficient organization.
Oh, this looks as dangerous as it possibly could be. Mr. Lowe with the save and slotting in for the next touches. Archeon, unbelievable as they're able to keep it away, and that shot denied by To Die For as well. This ball maneuvering from one side of the field to the other quicker than you can blink one eye. This is insane. Archeon trying to get the pass off the corner, though. The top of the rope, skill steal, the shot misses. Mr. Lowe denied. Snowy again and again at the best opportunities that Reformed have, take and steal them away.
2 proper banging shots on goal, 2 proper banging saves, keeps the score level at 1. We're not going to have the quick overtime. The first minute gone by already, and no immediate signs of a breakthrough. Although if Mr. Lowe can redirect, he whips it. So Snowy should have control. Down crossfield. Oh, he's given it to Archeon. Archeon, can he get the double? He does. It's not on target yet. Can anybody follow? Oh, Mr. Lowe puts it wide.
And Reformed have given themselves every single chance to score here, but May Contain Nuts offering no breathing room to this team. You're wondering how they scored in the last meeting. It was off of a lot of goal line demolitions. We haven't seen that. We've seen the harassment from Skill Steal, a couple bumps here and there, but no eliminations on the field. That could be the one factor that they need. Archeon getting that started right now with a demolition in the midfield against Snowy, trying to enable Skill Steal around the corner, but he can't find it past the lone defender still guarding that back line. They're able to kick it away once again. Snowy losing the ball off to Skill Steal. He's down for harassment again. He's trying to get those goalies out of the play, whether it's a bumper and demo. Mr. Lowe off the corner, setting up his team, forcing 2 defenders. And if Skill Steal's there, the shot is through, but Snowy instead rises to the occasion.
And we've seen a couple of examples of double commits from May Contain Nuts. They've survived now. Oh, the net's open on the other side. To Die For should have this in. He does. Easy angle for him. And it has been a very tense, very tight, very close game. But May Contain Nuts take it over the finish line after nearly 2.5 minutes of overtime. And my word, that is going to be a loss that hurts a lot for Reformed.
Reformed, they've used their timeouts. They've given themselves so many chances. They finally cracked that double-digit shot line there. That is 11 total in that game there. You can see it, but wow, Graybeard. I mean, now they have to pull up off the reverse sweep, which looks nearly impossible. Can we talk for a second about the perseverance of May Contain Nuts? How many saves they had to make? It feels almost impossible for Reform to score at that point.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, the action reversed on the other side. Their shot and save counts are very, very close together, and I think just mirrors how close that game was. It could have been reformed, and at some points it should have been reformed with their opportunities to score. And I'm sure if they are to go on and lose this, I think they're going to look back at those tiny moments. And I've said often before, my favorite expression is great events turn on small hinges. It's those tiny moments, the missed opportunity, the shot just wide, the little double commit that leads to the greater things. And they may look at that, but you know what? I'm not gonna read the obituary before we have to. They've got the opportunity to come back. Can they pull off the unlikeliest of events, a best of 7 reverse sweep?
Tell you what, Graybeard, I never got my chance to make a formal prediction. It was reformed in my mind. And you know what? I'm going to stand by it, okay? The ultimate reverse sweep needed from a team that's given May Contain Nuts their only upset of the season. Can they do it again? It's a monumental effort. It's something that not a lot of folks would believe in, but I'm giving them the shred of hope here. They've brought it to an overtime in game 3. They can keep every single game close if they so desire. Darth close on that shot.
And of course, you can get lost in the mountain of work you have to do. But the great thing about Rocket League is just do the work that's in front of you. Get the ball right in front of you, over to the other side, score a goal, move on to the next, and just take it one moment at a time. And Rocket League does allow for that. It does give you that sort of forward look. Well, you don't have to look too forward. You can be very rooted in the moment, but in this moment, To Die For is going to get goal number 7, I believe. And he's been on a tear. It continues. May Contain Nuts with first blood.
That play is a death sentence for Reform. They've been on the defensive for so long, scavenging boost pads wherever they can, and then you activate To Die For with all the boost in the world in the air, and he can just look at the goal line defenders and put it wherever he wants to Die For. 9 times out of 10, heck, 10 out of 10 in this case, in this series, how hot he's been in this series will put that through where the defenders are not. That's the first goal now for May Contain Nuts. They start off on the right foot, and Reformed have been stuck in their back third for just about this entire game 4.
Yeah, and the comment that might be in. There's an opportunity here. Archeon Conquered, Mr. Low with the follow, Snowy with the save. And exactly what we saw last game, these build-ups, opportunity, Reformed carving out an opening and not walking through the opening they'd worked so hard to open, and now an opportunity on the other side for May Contain Nuts. To Die For is out 50'd, but now heading again toward the Reform net. Mr. Lowe should get it at least some distance away. Oh, another moment they should possibly have grasped.
The momentum on the turn around from defense to offense has been stinted again and again by May Contain Nuts, and maybe it's even Reformed battling themselves here. Some of the rotations have been very turnaround, been very repetitive in the wrong ways. Skill steal, that is a routine touch there. Something he's not going to be pleased of. May Contain Nuts go up 2.
Yeah, it looks like he lost his second jump. He didn't flick toward the ball or dodge toward it. Not sure what happened there. And Darth will be the most surprised on the field that went in and he has a goal.
Well, one thing that this Reform team was able to utilize in their previous upset against May Contain Nuts was the trust that they had in their team's ability to get a large range across the field, make demos all the way across the field just to activate a counterattack. Right now, that trust eroding with a missed touch there from Skill Steal. Skill Steal, one of the most dependable players right now in this match. So seeing that miscue is not a good sign right now for Reformed, who needs to be at their best abilities to make this reverse sweep possible.
Slightly over half the game to go, and all the work is for Reform. To Die For is alone, gives up his life for a clear, but Mr. Lowe will have the follow-up there. Darth does very well. Oh, he does magnificently. Mr. Lowe just gets back for the save, but from a potential conceding point, transitioning to a wonderful attack through Darth.
Well, here it is, the point of return for To Die For. He will not allow this chance to go undone. Darth had a shot earlier that he thought maybe was in. He'll earn this one.
Oh, man, To Die For just bullying his way through that 50 and the ball in front of the net. Darth with the finish. And now it's starting to feel a bit more like that stamp of authority we saw in game 1. Reform did exceptionally well in games 2 and 3 to keep it close, keep it tight. But losing those games, particularly game 3, I think was really damaging, but they ain't done yet. Skill Steel does get one back with the African bouncer for their opening goal here, and maybe a glimmer of hope.
Do not count this team out. Okay, they've done it before. Reformed, though, in their wins, every single win in that best of 5 was a shutout. This time they have to come back, and they've got to climb a mountain to get back into this game. But if that is what it takes, and maybe they're up for the challenge, Demolition onto Snowy to take out the shot taker for Reformed allows them a lane to get out of their back third. Skill Steal down on the wall, trying to read this touch off the backboard as well. Snowy simply not allowing it, coming from the respawn and denying that chance. Snowy redirect, not there, but a great look for May Contain Nuts.
Oh, that would have been one delicious shot if Snowy had gotten on it. He doesn't, so it does keep. Oh, there's been a double demo. Skill Steal, the lone live player on the field, does enough. Archeon from distance, but Darth has made his way back. Passes it long forward to die for. And this is where they are so strong, is how quickly they can link up with each other. And I think we had the classic triple there to make sure that ball didn't go in. Sub 1 minute, Reformed running low on time. If they're going to level this up, they've got to get their second really, really soon. Get themselves reset, focused, and organized forward. But they're on the wrong side and just cannot get the ball out at the moment.
Yeah, that reset needs to bring them to the other side of the field. Archeon would have been better off with a second touch off the wall there, but it is about to Skill Steal. Darth on their back foot here. Pass comes across the goal line, but a bit too high and no one there to follow. Snowy trying to be Mr. Low to this touch. Able to pick it up after the first. Snowy sees Darth in the midfield. That should be the dagger. The final nail. Snowy to Darth. A combination play that we've known for oh so long in SSA.
Yeah, and it's an area of their game where they're probably doing it better than anybody else. It's not just the passing plays. It's the fact that they aren't very well telegraphed. You know, we saw in the ATG Pirates game where Pirates were on many occasions able to intercept those passing plays. But May Contain Nuts, just their sheer pace, they've made it hard to predict those plays, very hard to get in front of. And we are done. And we've gone from one extreme to the other, Pyro. We've seen a game 7 immediately followed by a 4-game run over by May Contain Nuts for the second regional in the row. They will make the grand finals, but meeting a new opponent.
A new opponent indeed will be ATK, but I think at this point in time, May Contain Nuts just happy to go to the next stage. It is a 4-0 sweep. They managed to take out Reformed as quickly as possible. One thing, Greybeard, is they just kept those shot points up again and again, crashing the boards, keeping Reformed on their back legs. Grand Finals is theirs.
Well, you know what, and S Proxy is now is going to join us again, but you know yeah, you want to have a high shooting percentage. You want to convert as many of your shots as possible. But you know what? If you can put 10 plus, 10, 15 shots onto a goal in a game, you're going to be scoring enough to win in most cases. And May Contain Nuts winning by sheer weight of their pressure, Proxy.
Today has been a little bit of a roller coaster for me. I mean, that first series was so incredibly close, but again, the statistics, they went to back that. This was the question mark that we moved on into. This is the game that, as you mentioned, Greybeard, we had a lot of questions about. You know, are we going to see another bit of a change-up? Is Reformed going to come back once again and bring in an absolutely beautiful performance? Or is May Contain Nuts going to do what they do best and take the series? Moving into that one, first thing I want to start off with, Pyro, you can hopefully give me the answer here. To die for. What are you supposed to do against a player like To Die For? I mean, in all honesty, like, yes, we could talk about the double setups just now from Darth and Snowy, but To Die For? How must you fight against that?
Oh, it is nearly impossible. I mean, look, there's a reason that this team is the makeup that they are. Snowy and Darth, though they were on a team that was the most winningest, they won the most in the last season, they still wanted to improve their unit. That's why they took To Die For on this roster. And I think the series was a great display of just that. You offer him space and boost, and he will make the other team pay. It is very much that simple. A massive, influential game here for To Die For, and it's a bit of foreshadowing as well to, I think, what he will be able to do in the grand finals.
I mean, just the start of game number 1 with those 7 shots, and of those 7, 5 goals were given for game number 1. I mean, what a way to start the momentum train here for May Contain Nuts. But of course, I mean, we have to talk about Greybeard. I mean, Darth, the speed at which he hits those setups from Snowy into the goalpost. I mean, if you blink, you will miss it. I mean, just talk a little bit about that wombo combo that comes in for May Contain Nuts, and how a team is supposed to really defend against something like that.
It's clearly an element of the game that they're working on. I had a conversation with Snowy when they came back from Worlds, and he said the biggest struggle when you come back is to maintain the urgency you have when you're playing against these EU North American players who are just so quick, the urgency in recovery and get back. And he said that's hard when you come back to home in the normal pace of play, but clearly it's an element of their game they're working on to try and have that quick pace. And I think the secret for me is how quick they execute the passing plays. We saw ATK doing it, but they do it at a slightly lower pace, and that's something they'll have to pick up, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And that, for me, has been the key for May Contain Nuts, is that they're doing what they're doing, everybody else can do, but they're doing it a lot quicker, and they're executing far better at it.
It also takes a lot of trust from your teammate to know that setup is going to be there for Darth just to take that boost into the goal spot, knowing the ball is going to reach him when he hits that marker. I mean, absolutely brilliant cohesion coming through from these teams. But of course, we do have to give a little bit of love to Reformed. I mean, also just Mr. Lowe, the goal saver of a lifetime. Whenever I thought that ball was going to be crossing the line, Pyro Lowe just shows up. He's there. He's there to make sure it's not going to happen. I mean, also just brilliant individual moments coming through from the team of Reformed.
Mr. Lowe last season was very much the rock for Nibble Esports, previously out of retirement. I mean, there's a reason that Skills Steel, I think, matches up so well with Mr. Lowe, who feels like a veteran of the esport as well. Very dependable, and I spoke to that trust of the team that this squad usually has to activate themselves on the other side of the field, get those goal line demolitions, open up shooting lanes. The trust just seemed to be eroded step by step when they weren't making those routine touches, when they weren't able to make those quick transitions down the other side of the field. I think it speaks to May Contain Nuts and their ability to assert the dominance and those quick touches and the speed that Greybeard was talking about. I mean, May Contain Nuts, they're not just practicing for this region, they're already practicing to get to that world stage again. That's something that we have to keep in mind about this team and how they're going to continue to accelerate the pace of this game here in SSA.
Oh, it's been brilliant, but let's take a look at that bracket. We need to prep ourselves for this final. What a surprising final it is going to be. Greybeard is going to be May Contain Nuts and ATK. Quite a bit of a change up from that previous regional for ATK. Obviously, they had their own battle against Reform. They did unfortunately lose that one out, but this time they've come back looking stronger and better than ever.
A new player in the final. It's fabulous. I can't wait to get to it. We will have the potential of a new regional champion other than the Orlando Pirates stroke Bravado team or May Contain Nuts stroke Bravado team will be the champion today.
It is going to be brilliant. The confidence from May Contain Nuts in that final series was absolutely brilliant. But the work that ATK have been bringing in, you can give us your predictions in chat. Get them ready because they are going to be hot and heavy. While we take a quick break, we're going to get ourselves prepped for this final series. You have to know it is going to be spicy. So don't go anywhere. The action is just around the corner. Welcome back, everyone, to the RLCS Full Cup, of course, brought to you by ACGL, and what a day it has been. We started off with a reverse sweep with ATK just fighting tooth and nail against Orlando Pirates, literally keeping all of us speechless, but nonetheless, we had some words to say when it came to MCN and Reformed. What we thought, the questions we had, well, they were given pretty swift answers from MCN. I mean, just taking a 4-0 sweep, they were done. They're ready for the finals. And as we move into this next matchup, let's take a look at that head-to-head. It is going to be an absolute cracker of a match. I mean, Greybeard, there's so much story behind these teams. There's so much that we can really delve into. But let's start with that series from Maycontain Nuts, right? The confidence that they had, the constant pressure that was being applied to them, it really didn't matter.
I think it was an important series for them to reaffirm the team that we've expected them to be, the team that we, without much thought, would predict to win every game. And then they lost that one, and now we go, "Ooh, is it the time for a change? Is there a shake-up?" So it was important for them to win that, to win it well, and they did. 4-0. They were out there to make it happen.
They made the statements, right? They came into that semi and they were making statements. They were done with all of these rumors. They were here to put them to rest. But as we know, we need to get some word from our viewers. The fan predictions are open, so make sure you use the hashtag MCN or hashtag ATK, who you will be backing into this next series. And Altruism, I need to find out from you. I mean, we've had a few votes of our own, a few predictions of our own. How are we going to start this grand final? Is it going to be MCN or ATK to take the dub?
I don't know. My predictions have been all over the place recently.
Hey,
I said MCN.
Me too.
I said MCN would never lose to Reformed earlier, and guess what happened? Then I thought ATK was a good team, but Orlando Pirates still would take it, and yet again proved wrong. So I'm going to go for MCN. But man, if this is the one I get wrong, then holy cow, do we have a scene on our hands.
All right, we've got the first one up for MCN. Greybeard, I need to check in with you. MCN or ATK?
Just a point that we haven't touched on, and I think is important, is with ATK now in the finals, is this shakes things up in terms of the rankings. And it is the top two teams will go through to wild card. So if Maycontain Nuts win this regional, they're going to be very, very well placed. But now that second place spot is going to be up for grabs. So that's kind of a case of like pigeons meet cats. So there's a bit of a scattering there, and there is a lot riding on this. Because if ATK were to take this down, man, oh man, are we in chaos for who's going to go to Worlds. And yes, there's a lot to play for, but early on, there's going to be panic. Having said all of that, ATK has been a surprise team for me. Even with last regional, they did quite well there. This one, they blew hot and cold. They had great series, weird series. But man, they've hit their straps and they're looking good. But I don't know if they've got the pace to overcome Maycontain Nuts. So I am going with MCN. But I'm hoping that they take at least 2 or gloriously a game 7.
As the host, I have to do what I need to do best. And of course, I don't want to make the same mistake again. I do have to give, Worthy, because he came on here, he gave such a beautiful interview. I have to give it to ATK. I need to give them that little bit of hope. I need to hold that candle in the final, that we will be seeing those surprises that the casters have been mentioning, that we will be seeing those upsets, because what a story it would be for ATK. What a battle and a journey they've had to take just to get to this point. And wouldn't it be so sweet if we added that final W right at the top? We can see the chat results at the bottom as well. So 57% will be standing with me in the ATK corner, while of course a very, very respectable 40% now, it looks like it's changed, will be standing with MCN. As we move into this final, it cannot be filled without any questions. I mean, right, you've got MCN with the confidence, with the experience. You've got ATK with a little bit of that surprising factor. Altruism, do you think that's what's going to be bringing them into, that potential for the W, that they have that extra little bit of question factor?
Well, Alta, I actually wanted to throw a question to you. I mean, that chat vote result is a little surprising, and I wonder how much chat are allowing their emotions to get ahead of them there by voting against the Nuts team.
I mean, ATK has got some of the most passionate fans there. I snuck in my little vote into the text chat, so part of that 40% was me, and instantly I got shut down with the go away. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm allowed to say what I want to, and I think Make It Day Nuts does deserve the title of their favorites for this one. But their fans are here for ATK. The players are here for ATK. They have never shown up this potent before. And I think if there was ever a day that ATK could take this, then hell's yes, it's today.
Yes.
The admins are having a tough time. They keep changing the times that they're giving me. It's MCN 45, that it's 55 to ATK. I mean, those numbers are constantly changing, and the admins are just having a field day. But yeah, the fans are here regardless, whether it's to MCN or to ATK. The fans are here to witness some prime Rocket League. And of course, what better way to do it than to hand it over to Greybeard and Altruism, the duo that we cannot live without. We are heading into the finals for the RLCS Full Cup, and we are going to give it off to these wonderful casters. So let's get into the action as soon as we can.
Greybeard. I must admit, after that last series where I was watching ATK fight to the death, I'm so excited to see what they can do. I don't know if they're worn out or just more inspired than ever to take this. This is going to be their biggest challenge. I know Werty was saying that he's so proud of his team for what they've done so far. And you said 4-2. I also was actually thinking along those sort of lines. I think 2 games would be a really good showing here by ATK.
I think it would be amazing. I mean, even more amazing would be a win by ATK. And a point, Altruism, we have to make is that this is the first time since the inception of SSA RLCS Rocket League that we have any non-South Africans in the grand final. We have Willu and we have Gizu, who are non-South African. So that is another step forward for the region.
Oh, I love it, right? We've had a couple of international orgs starting to step in here. The fact that we've got, this is not SA. This is not RLCS SA division. This is SSA. We've got a lot of people starting to really appreciate. We've got fans from around the world, and for good reason, right? And it'll be interesting to see how this goes. The international talent and, you know, the ex-coaching experience coming out from Gizu versus the international experience that MCN has managed to pick up so far.
All right, well, we are underway. Early defensive work from ATK. Darth now forward. Gizu has to get on that. It does. It goes into their corner to die for. And man, Altruism wasn't this to die for guy. He was just an absolute terror in that semi-final. And I think putting away 7 or 8 goals, an absolute monster in that series, and no doubt going to be a massive feature here. In the meantime, the ball kept dead through a series of 50s right over in the ATK half. They finally do break out, and maybe a little bit of breathing room to find Gizu with the shot, Snowy with the save, Willow with the he doesn't get the follow. A great opening attack, an opportunity for ATK.
Oh man, that was close. I think that was just pure circumstance right there that left the defender in the correct position, because that was a banging shot off an incredibly good setup so far. And I think this is what ATK has the potency, and somehow he comes off to the other side of the field, gets an impeccable save there. Gizu was the standout performer here for ATK against Orlando Pirates, and is so far not disappointing.
Clutch work in defense, and you get the feeling they're going to have to do that a lot if they're going to take down the series, because we saw against Reformed just the sheer weight, the numbers of attacking plays, shots on goal from MCN, saw them going through there. So defense is going to be massively important. And so far, ATK doing the job. We're coming up for 2 minutes. They've kept it scoreless despite several attacks from MCN, and they've had a couple of looks themselves over on the other side.
Yeah, 100%. Even if we just look at that last series, I definitely think it's going to be MCN with more of the scoring opportunities. So it's going to be up to ATK to do some work in the back line and then make their limited opportunities count for themselves.
All right, Snowy, yet another MCN attack building. Nothing happening yet. And now ATK trying to take it over. Make something happen on the other. Snowy's going to get there first. Gizu's alone in the net for the time being, and he's man enough to get there quickly, to get there before. But Darth, there is a demo, but Werty's going to pick it up, and it remains evenly poised. Game 1 in the semi-final was all MCN, but they're going to go behind through Gizu. Oh, my word. ATK with first blood, Werty with the setup, and then Gizu with the block into the net.
Man, Werty came off that wall with 0 boost. He had nothing in the tank there, and he somehow manages to push it just gently towards goal. And I was like, that's too soft to do anything. And then somehow Gizu, once more with the goals you don't expect, coming through with the brick wall side of his car, gets the slowest little 50 out of it, but it's enough. When you're that close to the goal line, you just have to get in the general direction. Opens things up, and like you said, I think that this MCN lineup going to have a lot of shots, but that's not to say ATK knocked without their bit of breathing room sometimes.
Yeah, and an advantage here for ATK is that they didn't score it early. They scored it around the halfway mark, so they've only got half a game to defend it. Oh, they're going to have 2 goals! Willu will get a finish! And ATK, they're here to play. They're here to cause chaos in SSA Rocket League.
This has been my favorite part of this ATK lineup. How well they work off that backboard. If you can drop it down to your teammates, there is always an orange player there waiting for it. And they make no mistake on those sort of plays. An incredible finish at the end there. Wonderful pass. And I mean, that was risky. They dropped all 3 players into that attack. But when it comes out, that gets them a 2-goal lead. And now it's not just a hold on until the end. Now it's a case of ATK looking to take control of the series.
All right, and now an unusual position in the playoffs for MCN is having to chase a game and 2 goals and a minute 20, and ATK are just going to look to try and hold possession, try and burn time off the clock anytime they can. Gizu with a miss might make things awkward, but the 50 goes backwards. And Darth with a redirect, but Gizau and Werty in front of the net. Slight double commit, but they get it out and maybe transitioning into attack.
Right now, the passing plays from MCN is one of their stalwart attacking maneuvers. Definitely doing work to get it up and making them look dangerous, but so far unable to find that last touch into the back of the net. This is an interesting drop down. Snowy managing to pick that up very cleanly on defense. Cuts it out straight away to die for, but slow up to that one. Gives Werty some space to find it towards the center. Darth, though, understanding how important it is to do some backboard work, but lets it drop down. Now Wheeler with a bit of space to try and make something work here. Gizo pushing it across there. Going to be another pickup from Walu. The demo, though, on Werty just kind of takes it out and then paid back in kind. Opens up a little bit of space now. Pinches back towards the orange goal. Shot could come in there. Defended up there. 10 seconds left on the board. Is all ATK is interested in, though, because they should be able to pick up the first game.
And the most astonishing stat for me is that in that entire game, May Contain Nuts, who had more than 10 shots in every game in that last series, this series only capable of finding 3 opportunities, 3 scoring shots, or 3 shots on target on the ATK net. That is massive. ATK able to keep them out, prevent them from finding those shooting opportunities.
Amazing, right? That's got to be your first plan. This May Contain Nuts has such an offensive line behind them that if you give them the space to start stringing these passes together, you can't really back yourself to save all of those on the line. You've got to cut them out in the middle, and that's what ATK did so well. They did it against Orlando Pirates where they controlled that midfield. They've done it again now. Big shout out to the chat who's putting in some interesting bets there. The 1,000 Rand that's going free if ATK win this, I'll take that 100%. I'm claiming that before anyone else, just in case. But so far, off to a good start, and that 1,000 Rand might not be safe.
Well, you know what? This ATK team, and honestly, they were a late inclusion into the just coming together just before roster lock. And we, as far as we knew, ATK weren't even going to field the roster this season. So they came in late, and it was like we had with Gizu coming in, Willu from Reunion, and we're not sure. They're certainly not bad players, but man, they're threatening as it stands now, the SSA Rocket League establishment.
Man, Graybeard, what does this mean if ATK is able to put up this good of a showing against supposedly the dream team right now? The fact that they were able to offseed Orlando Pirates, if they can bring this in, oh no!
Well, the pass from Darth to Gizu was pretty good.
Gizu showing creativity in all of his shooting. This time, unfortunately, on the wrong side, you can imagine he was put under a lot of pressure there. You know that someone from the MCN lineup is going to be coming through soon afterwards, and so has to try something. Unfortunately, completely the wrong side, way too close to the net. And MCN, while it might not be the way that they're used to scoring those beautiful goals, it counts at the end of the day. And it means ATK now setting themselves off on the back foot.
All right, and here we go to Die For, who didn't feature much in that last game, didn't have much of an impact, and we know when he does, when he hits his strats, when he finds his rhythm, he is a devastating player. Darth there not finding the follow on the wall. It is tidied up, though. Now there's going to be an opportunity. Oh, I glimpsed an open net, but the attempted shot is cut out, this time to Die For toward the net. Giza should get the clear, and indeed he does.
Popping back, still dangerous. Darth is waiting there and gets deflected, denied out by Werty. Still shots peppering the backboard. This time cleared out by Willu. Snowy looking to take this up. Still got a little bit of boost. Still has to clash it out against Gizu. It's going to be Werty. He does across it. Doesn't manage to get to it. And somehow ATK still survive. They've got a 1 goal now down. And they would hate to have 2 goals this early in the game.
Absolutely, but they keep it to 1 for now. But slowly, it is may contain nuts with scoring opportunities. 2 shots on goal. ATK yet to find a scoring opportunities. They're going to want to open that up as soon as possible, and not at the same time not allow nuts to find a way to start getting it over to the other side. The net's open. It's dangerous. Gizu goes towards it. Snowy gets the clear, but it is still an ATK opportunity. An ATK attack. Riley floats in front of the net. Willu gets it in front. He tries to come off the wall and angle it round. Can't find it. But for the moment, Nuts are a little awkward, a little bit stressed, strained up against their goal line. Oh, and Willu with the miss might relieve the pressure.
Biggest sustained portion of pressure coming out there from this ATK side. They're going to be disappointed that they didn't manage to get anything. Like you say, Willu just unable to get it there at the end. They had so many good opportunities, looking to set it up again. Snowy trying to push it across the goals. There's no orange players waiting for him, so he's got the smallest amount of space. Gizu now, the man of the moment, has all this opportunity. He's so dangerous off that top of the roof. The arena proving to be one of his greatest allies. And Werty looking to carry this on. So far, though, it has been this MCN lineup doing well to defend their goal line and keep the pressure out. They don't need to do much more, but I think an extra goal in their back pocket would make them feel a lot more comfortable considering.
Well, they'll be pleased with the lead, to be sure, but I don't think they're going to be happy with the way that they're kind of being stretched a little. They're having to work. They would feel they should be dominating a lot more here, and certainly scoring a second, a third goal will be part of that to die for. And we have seen him pull off some unbelievable work mechanically to find the net. It doesn't come off this time, but if he can get it going, he will be in clear and present danger. In the meantime, a few misses from a few players keeps the ball loose in front of the MCN net.
Oh, to die for, always dangerous. This nice double touch to give him and his team a little bit of space. Nearly opens it up. Snowy doing work off the corner there. And like you say, to die for, one of the most creative players and one of the youngest players in this SSA lineup. No, it's going to do the same again. This one clattering straight down the waterfall. Instead put in by a blue player this time. Snowy going to collect his own pass, but Gizu just unable to read that off the back of the net.
Gizu, knowing exactly what was going down there, what was happening, he knew he had to get to it. He doesn't, and Snowy will receive gratefully. Oh, the ball loose, hardly leaves the center spot. Picked up now by Snowy. The pass to Die falls up, he gets it in. And now finally, we see the MCN team from that last series finally getting a little bit of finding the freedom to play like they did in that last series, and they open up a 3-goal lead.
Yeah, that's what we expect to see from MCN, is those passing plays, that quick transition into the center. And if the defenders aren't exactly in the correct place at that stage, they've got no chance of getting to it. This time, Willu now not going to be able to get the dunk down towards the center. Werty turned the wrong way to get up to that quickly. MCN seeming to step up their pace, step up their awareness of what they're wanting to do. And showing the creativity. It's one more time. The youngster coming in here, he's 19 years old at this stage. He's been on this stage more times than any other player basically in this roster, or at least in this scene, tied up with the rest of this May Contain Nuts side. Has that international exposure and using it to great efficacy right now.
17, I believe, is
17 still.
Oh yeah, no, a proper youngster, and doing wonders for the scene. Werty trying to find the net, cleared out by Snowy, and MCN shut out in game 1, and now ATK staring down the barrel of a shutout. But if we saw the one thing we learned about ATK is that kisses the crossbar. Snowy, oh, it's touched by Gizu and it goes out. But if there's one thing we learned about ATK in that Pirate series is that you can't count them out. They had, or there is going to be a fourth to seal the deal, this time by To Die For. But ATK, they had a couple of bad games against Pirates. They were staring down 3-1 and making the comeback. So certainly not going to write them off.
Oh, 100%, right? I'm just reserving my energy right now. I'm not throwing into the first 2 games, regardless of how this is going, because I still believe ATK can take a long series. Yeah, even though it's a 4th goal at the end there, it was already a foregone conclusion that it was going to be MCN taking this game, and somehow still them trying to keep it up for a little bit longer. May contain nuts, take game number 2, and it means, though, the series 1 apiece.
Well, so the sweep is off the table. We're not going to see, there's not going to be a repeat by Main Contain Nuts of what they did in the first regional when they swept Orlando Pirates to a victory. We're going to seeing at least 5. So we will make it as far as Wasteland Night at the very least, but a much better game there for Nuts. 9 scoring shots, much more like them, keeping ATK to 4. So very much a role reversal between these 2 teams in game 2.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference maker, right? Is you felt that ATK was under pressure a lot of the time, and their defense kind of started to lack a little bit at the end there. They didn't have that same composure. They got caught on the back foot from these 2 shots that came straight down, and there was really no one up there on the backboard to try and meet that. So May Contain Nuts going to be very happy that their counterattacks were working out a lot better. ATK needs to either keep that pressure on when they start to build it up and finish it off at the end of that, or have the awareness to just realize, hang on, this is not going away players, and that speed that they can transition from one side of the field is impeccable.
All right, fine. Alt lagging a little bit. He'll get his internet sorted out and be back with us shortly. But yeah, we have a level series, and one of the if May Contain Nuts win here and they take the series, it's great for them because they will just increase their lead at the top of the standings to secure, as they look to secure a spot in the wild card. But my word, will it open things up and make it a lot more chaotic from second place onwards, with more than just one team fighting for that second place slot. I can't wait for it. Werty's going to open the scoring for ATK. 15 seconds into game 3. What an outstanding start. Willu off the wall. Werty with the follow. What a banger. 119 Ks an hour. Well, they couldn't have asked for a better start than that. And away they go. With good, well, they've now scored, which is good for them, but it is early. And we've seen both Orlando Pirates and in the last series against Reformed, it's a tough ask for a team against May Contain Nuts to defend for the length of a Rocket League game, 4.5 minutes. But that's exactly what ATK are going to need to do minimally. Right now, they save, they make sure that they don't concede and get the game level. Just do your work in defense and make sure you don't concede. Willu looking for the net, doesn't find it. Werty keeps the interest up though, but it's going to get picked out in the middle. To Die For with the redirect, but it's off target. Snowy can't get the follow. And now ATK going to have an opportunity on the other side. Werty doing very well to control it. Can he get it into the middle? He does. Does he have any support players? They back off, knowing that they're going to get beaten to the ball. Now Snowy trying to go the distance in the air. All right. Well, I said at the end of last game that ATK they know how to get back into a game. They didn't have a great game last game, but here they are fighting an early lead, and all the early pressure, all the early shots coming in from ATK, looking very, very good. Oh, Darth with the miss. It might open things up. Geese out To Die For. Both contest the ball. It falls well for ATK in the demo, but it is Snowy who has possession for MCN, looking for a teammate cut out by Werty, but it does move forward toward the net. The shot is going to go wide, and you wouldn't expect that from To Die For. When he takes the ball, you would expect him 8 times out of 10 to find the net. But my word, it's going to be a To Die For. He does now find the target, and it is MCN to level things up in the grand final, game 3. And then Darth with the harassment, the bullying, the savagery in the net to make sure the defender can't make a go at saving the ball. Okay. I think Alt, I'm not sure we're getting you through to the stream. So while that gets sorted, I'll take it. But what you missed there was some excellent commentary from Ultrazim. Added an almost goal for MCN, and now it's back in the middle. Darth takes it forward. Okay, Gizow's going to intercept, and it's only To Die For. Darth does make his way back to the goal line, and perhaps setting something up here. Snowy, sort of an interesting pass there, passing toward his own goal, but looking for a teammate. It does work out in the end. To Die For now, high on the backboard toward the net. Willu does get there. I thought he was going to miss it, and that would have set up a great scoring shot. But it's not to be, and we remain pegged. And this has been the closest game there was. ATK kind of taking charge of things in game 1. MCN in game 2, heading toward the net. Snowy clears, and this one the most even of them all so far. And it is now MCN up against their goal line, trying to find a way to keep it out, keep it defended. But loving the work from ATK and their capacity, their ability to build pressure, which is a trait that MCN are renowned for, that slow suffocation. But ATK doing it very well to keep themselves in the game, and not just keep them in it, finding attacking opportunities.
Okay, I seem to be back, I believe.
Welcome.
So just let everyone know I am here, and I'm just as excited because holy cow, how has this stayed at 1 apiece for the rest of this game now? Gizu trying to get it back towards the center. ATK one more time into the attack. They've pushed everyone up. Gizu having to retreat back a little bit. A nice tap towards the center. Flashes up high, comes down in front of the blue net. Nice touch back towards the center. Cross field here. That's actually out of the reach of any of our ATK players. And they're going to have to do some defense.
And looming overtime coming. If it stays this way, if they can hold on, and that this deadlock can be broken at any time. We have seen opportunities from one side to the other, coming and going constantly here, neither being able to break through. And I wonder if the Nuts team are a little bit surprised by how ATK have been playing. I don't think they would have expected this level of play from them, given their record in the first regional. And then also here, even though they've come as far as they've had, it's been remarkable how they've done it. And we are headed toward overtime. They're going to keep this one out. To Die For. Will he keep it up and make an attempt? Yes, he will. Can he find a pass? Pass to Darth, who gets the loose ball here. It's going to be dropped down. We have a game 3 overtime. And away they go. This is it. How long does this overtime take? Wilu with the first opportunity. To Die For. This could be dangerous. He's got enough boost to make it happen. Can't make the flip reset be as threatening as he would have liked it to be. But 22 seconds in. Opportunity now for MCN. It's high and loose in front of ATK's net. Willu with a single boost to his name will get the clear, but not too far. It's in the midfield. Snowy now. Across goal! Oh, it's almost redirected as an own goal! Darth has a follow! Werty with the save! It's chaos, all the action in front of the ATK net, but they keep it out for now. They survive, but only just. But now they're going to have an attacking opportunity of their own. And I think while we sort out Ultrazim, I think we've got Pyro back if he is with us. Pyro? No, Pyro's got to add his cam. As soon as he does there, we'll get his audio through. Production will let me know. I'll keep it rolling in the meantime as this overtime continues. More defensive work from May Contain Nuts. Willu into the middle. Werty with a cheeky touch forward into the corner. Willu in front of the net to die for, sees it coming and gets the follow to make sure there's no threatening shot on the net. And my word, we've had a minute and a half of overtime. What an outstanding grand final we're having so far, with a game each and a titanic battle going on here. Overtime in game 3. Snowy with a shot on net, easily saved by Giesel. Snowy though recovers, keeps it threatening, keeps it in there. It's Werty and Darth. Werty misses.
Wow. This is so close, Greybeard. I cannot believe it. I was sitting watching this from the other standpoint, but here they are. Another shot comes in for May Contain Nuts. They are trying to rival the pressure right now and capitalize upon it, but ATK will simply not allow it.
This is what you want to see, right? I mean, the last final was an MCN kind of walk through a 4-0 sweep. There were exciting moments in that series, to be sure. But man, this has all the makings of one that goes down to the wire. And you start to question everything, Pyro. I mean, you've predicted against ATK twice and twice. And I was just sorry that you weren't on the desk, because I didn't know who you would have predicted.
Oh, I can't go against ATK anymore. It's at this point just allowing them to take the wins. But what I've been so impressed by this team so far is the saves. How are they keeping May Contain Nuts contained? It's a thing that few teams are simply able to do. Reform did it once, but then we saw what happened earlier on. Again, they keep it out of the scoring zone, capitalizing on the saves. ATK, a solid cement wall.
Man, this has been amazing. It has been 14 shots there or thereabouts, 13, 14 shots from Nuts, around 10 for ATK, and now 8 minutes of overtime, or 8 minutes of Rocket League. But ATK, man, they have done what they've needed to do to keep it out. It's been scrappy at times, but so it's been scrappy for May Contain Nuts as well. They've had to bring out the clutch saves. And now Snowy with the long distance clear. Who gets on the end of the Snowy does! What a finish to make sure that MCN take it. But what a game, what a series we have.
Stop after stop, we saw how resilient ATK were, but few teams can match the speed at which May Contain Nuts maneuver. Snowy, the speediest player of last season of RLCS, he's here to take that title again, beating the opponent to the challenge. And Greybeard, does it get any closer than that? A long drawn out overtime to keep May Contain Nuts on top.
And the thing we got to keep remembering is the nature in which ATK took down that semi-final. Staring down 3 series points, they came back. So that says a lot for the mental approach. And Werty in the interview saying that they were fairly calm throughout. It was only that final overtime where they were kind of panicking a little. But man, oh man, I mean, there's nothing certain here, but MCN are going to be very relieved they've taken it. But wow, was it close. And coming out in game 4, they're going to want to try and make it not that close. ATK, of course, are going to have their own say.
Wow. I mean, ATK had their say in the form of saves. Look at Willu, 7 saves in that game. I was calling Wordy the guardian of the goal line in the last series against Orlando Pirates, with how many incredible saves that were managed. But Willu this time around, I mean, a stellar performance to just keep this team surviving, keep their teams and their chances to counterattack. We heard it from Orlando Pirates before. ATK, the deadliest in the region on the counterattacks. And still, May Contain Nuts are able to take this win. It exemplifies the perseverance of this team and why they are boasted as the top of the region. May Contain Nuts can stay on top here in Game 4.
All right, now I do think we have Ultrasm back, but Pyro, don't go very far in case we need you. But wow, Ultrasm, what a cracker you missed there.
Oh man, that was heartbreaking. Just watching that overtime clock tick up more and more and more. I just knew that this was going to be really just epitomizing what this series is. I think that earlier ATK game just fried my entire PC, and then they were going to do it again to me. And so my computer was like, nah, we can't do this again, friends. So it is ATK now looking to bring back. They're one game down in the series, but still a long way to go for both of these teams.
Oh, absolutely. And by the evidence of what the first 40 seconds of this game, ATK haven't been beaten down. They lost that last game, but they're coming out here with some venom, with some bite. They're looking to push MCN back to die for, though. Into the midfield, Snowy's nowhere near there to help Willu. Oh, with too much of an easy giveaway, but Darth repaying the favor. And what could have been a threatening opportunity goes a begging to die for, though. Might make something happen here. He's off the wall. How far does he go with this? Oh, what a play! To die for. I think all the eyes were on to die for. And then Darth came and took it off him and into the net.
Man, if you're really on the baseline there, what do you even do? You've got to die for busy air dribbling that towards you, looking to put it at any part of the goal, and then suddenly out of nowhere, like you say, without even a blink, this guy comes through. Darth with the pace, with the placement, and with the goal at the end of it. What an amazing play, and what a way for MCN to start and possibly keep up their momentum in this.
Yeah, they're going to be very happy with that. There's an open net on the other side. I don't think Darth can get there, but Snowy does. But Willu, what a job he does to get enough of his car in the way to touch it away. That could well have been MCN second, but they're still on a bit of a rampage here. And that bounce going very not in the favor of MCN. ATK get a bit of a breather by virtue of that very high bounce off the curve.
Yeah, and I think that's a big moment there for this ATK side. They haven't had a lot of control of this game so far, kind of tending towards giving that ball away when they don't want to. They can do so much when they get their space, and this could give them a little bit more space. There's been a demo on the baseline, and it has been sunk in there. The demo opening up everything from the back line there. Werty just gets a pinch around it to die for, has to scurry back, slows it down in fact, and the little high five between the two of them to send it in the back of the net. It's a level game.
Yeah, and those demo plays, when they're done right, they are so devastating there. Just throws out, because they were saving that, all day, every day. But look at this. Oh, what a save! Oh, Snowy looking for the follow. He gets there. Oh, my word. That is the worst. When you get it, you get that clutch save, but you don't put it far enough away, and you see exactly what's going to happen, and you just can't get there. Snowy pounces. Lead established once more for MCN.
Man, that is heartbreaking. Being able to get there and make that save, you're just like, we've done the hard parts, and then you just have to spend seconds for a long time sitting that stationary on your baseline. It is ATK, but we know that this is a team that's not going to shake them. They're still going to be able to come back into this. A man to do it, Gizo, who's been so good. Here comes Wilu. Doesn't have any boost to work with. Gets a nice little pinch up the wall, though. Gives him some time to try to gather some boost, and he is going to have to play that third man role to die for. Looking with some creativity against the backwards Gizu. He's Wilu, at least. Wilu does well to turn that away, but he's going to have to do better than that. Darth somehow picking up that minimal space between the orange defenders.
And this is the danger now. It was very much MCN's game in game 2. They were doing what they're doing here, opening up distance between themselves and ATK. And the danger here is that this is going to put them 3 games down if they do indeed lose it. I think that game 2 with that 2.5-minute overtime would have been a very good one for them to win. Obviously, stating the obvious here. But now it's a tough one, because if they can have a bad game, but 3 down, you don't want to be doing that.
Once again, this ball flashing on the goal line for just a second. You certainly don't want to be going down at this stage, and 2 goals is already a bad enough deficit. They've got to try and bring this back right now. There seems to be a slight change in the mindset of ATK. Not that same aggressive team that we were seeing earlier, and that hesitation starting to cost them, opening up the little bit of mistakes, the couple of missed touches. Wilu now going ahead, trying again to do work with no boost. Werty jumps up a little bit early, can't get a decent touch on that. Ooh. That's a big miss in the center. Gizo takes out the defender, but then misses the open nets.
Oh no, that is a very important moment, and now the shot is saved, another shot is blocked. They still have an opportunity, but you feel they might have just wagged the dog there. They might have let it go in that moment. But let's not forget, they came from 3-1 down to take the semi-final. But this is may contain nuts.
Yeah, Orlando Pirates already enough of a tall task. Gizu again looking for some aggression on the back line. Has to worry about the man coming in over the top. Wheelu gonna take the shot, and he scores it. This ATK side has proven before that they can take a couple of goals in the last 30 seconds, and they're gonna start off like this. Wurty once more setting this up.
They can also take a few punches and keep fighting and fighting hard. They've had their poor moments, but they come back. And we can't overlook, though, that if that other goal goes in earlier, the open net from Gizao, we could be at a 3-3 scoreline. But plenty time, 30 seconds for the Sweatfest finish. ATK, they have possession. Or they did at least a moment ago. They will still have it, and they have the opportunity to score if someone can get on the end of this. But to die for with the intercept, but there's been a bit of a whiff in the middle. But to die for has it. If they score here, it surely is all over. Now 15 seconds for ATK to find a way to level up and take us to a second overtime.
Off the backboard again. Tense moment, sends it a long way down the field. To die for, going to have to make sure he clears this in a safe enough way. Wheelu gets a decent touch. It's up in the center. This is where ATK does so well. But Snowy going to look to put it down, and just wide of the incoming attacker there. There was moments of brilliance and so close for ATK to bring it back. Still one short at the end of it, though. Gives May Contain Nuts that 3-1 advantage.
There are moments in the game that just have a feeling about it, and that when it hit 0 seconds, there was just a vibe, Alt, that there was going to be a goal scored and we were going to have a 0 second and go to overtime, and it came desperately close. But now ATK find themselves where they were a series ago, 3-1 down. Every game now is a fight for their very survival.
Oh, yeah. And if they manage to pull this off, even if they manage to get close, I think it's going to make every team forever always worried about cashing in their chips a little too early. May Contain Nuts cannot afford to let off the pace, because this was still a very, very close series. Every one of these games decided by millimeters. The number of shots that went clashing, the number of goal line flickers there that we had between these two teams from both sides. And separating it only by a single goal, even in this game.
But importantly, ATK unable to keep Nuts quiet in that last game, being outshot almost 3-1. And we saw them do that with devastating effectiveness in that last series. Conversion rate, not great, but it doesn't necessarily have to be if you can score 10, 12, 14 shots in a game. ATK were very effective in keeping that quiet in game one. They're going to have to do it here. This is it. We're on Wasteland. Potentially the last game of Regional 2, the Fall Cup, as ATK look to fight for their tournament life and threaten May Contain Nuts at the top.
I think you're 100% right. You got to stop those scoring opportunities, those shots from coming at every stage, because this team is too dangerous to give any sort of space to. So cramp them up, go for the 50s if you need to, and certainly stop someone like To Die For from coming in like that. Gizu sends it long and high. Snowy has work to do, pushed it towards his corner. Wheelu and Gizu working together in that side there. Wheelu now going to be going up here, evaded by Darth, sends it to Wurty, who has to send it to his own corner. Now Wurty sitting without boost, but he has to watch his teammate going a long distance. It is ATK pushing up for an aggressive chance here. Wurty trying to find off the backboard, but good goaltending by Snowy.
Oh, and Snowy does well to get it past two. Now it's a 1v1. Darth to die for. But man, did Wurty do well to see what was developing and to get the touch away. He was 1v2 for a moment. Wow, that's an amazing touch in the corner. Darth is going to have another crack at it. What a play! A flick, a shot. He gets it in. MCN in front.
Incredible. That popped out to Wurty, and Darth just goes, okay, if you're not going to collect it, I'm going to. And there's training packs specifically for that. To Die For, giving him a little tap on the back at the end there, recognizing how much work his teammate did there to take it down the long open field. This shot, though, the turnaround kickoff goal, okay.
And you know what, ATK, we saw this from them against Orlando Pirates. just will not lay down and go away, even though they've been told repeatedly, they are still in it. The cheap response, and man, that is frustrating to any team to work that hard to score and then give it away on the kickoff. But they do, and they're going to have an opportunity to go in front, but Darth will get the touch away.
Good awareness from Darth. You know, this is a trick that Gizzo's been doing so often here. He takes it up, he goes onto that roof, he gets a nice little flick onto the backboard, and there's always someone waiting. And there was definitely the intention there from ATK. Now setting up one more ATK. Wilu doesn't manage to get past the defenders. Now it's Gizu's time to show off his dribbling tactics. Gets it past one, gets a 50 towards the center. It's Difel without a lot of boost, sends himself into the corner. The 50 towards the center. This could be up. Snowy pops it out wide. Gizu with the shot, sends it high. Dart still getting credited for a save. And ATK now trying to put on some pressure. They've worked hard to bring it back to a level, and they've got so much work to do. They would love to pick up the goal now.
It's been a very good passage of play for them. Nice build up of pressure, but if they don't score from it, it might just wear them down a little bit. You know, you sort of feel you deserve a goal, and if they concede here, it might just send them into challenge their mental quite severely. But they still do have an opportunity. They're still keeping it there. They're still making Contain Nuts struggle to get the ball out, and now Wilu's going to have a shot, but he puts it wide.
Oh, still, every time this ATK side gets up towards these goals, every time they get close to those corners, I wonder and I hold my breath, because they can pull off some amazing stuff. This one going to be long. Gizzo's chasing it, trying to get an extra touch. Doesn't manage to get it past to Difel. Still around this blue net, though. Wilu and Gizzo waiting on that side of the net. Have to cut out Darth, though, who's been spectacular on the walls. Gets bumped away from it, so will lose control for now. But he's got teammates chasing up with him.
And they have kept Nuts quiet in terms of scoring. Only 2 shots from them. And that did very well for them in game 1, keeping them quiet on the attacking front. And for the last, it feels like at least 2 minutes where it has been ATK over in the Nuts side, constantly not letting it go and continuing. Oh, look at that. And finally it squeezes in. What a touch from Werty. Finally, that extended period of pressure pays off. The pass forward through the work of a 50, but my word, the placement there, Alf, for Werty.
Beautiful. He reads that at the last moment. There was no space left, no angles left to calculate besides that one, and he still manages to get it. And that's what ATK was doing time and time again, was they were pushing that backboard. You can see their game plan. Gizzo now going in with that bit of physical play, the pass backwards now. Wilu are going to have to be the one now to try to get it towards the center. And time again, this ATK side looks to take control of that, find a player in the center and send it home. They've done it once now. They've done it twice. They need to be able to do it one more time to clinch out the series, or at least hold on their defense. Oh, and that one nearly tested them.
And again, it's been since the kickoff, since their second goal, it's been all ATK. A rare shot toward the net from MCN in this game. They've only had 3 shots. The net's open for the time being, but Darth will get there. And once again, struggling to get it out, but now a miss. Darth, it's 1v1 against Werty. Darth wins it, but his shot is off target, which means it won't count, and they still remain a goal behind. And now here come ATK once more.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proving it once more. Time and time again, you cannot count out this ATK side. They've got 27 seconds left. And while this MCN lineup has proven to be testing their metal has held up right now. Werty sends it a decent way across the field. It's going to be a soft touch towards the center. Snowy's up. He's taking the shot, and he finds it. 14 seconds left. He beats past the last 2 defenders.
Oh, and this is tough for ATK. 14 seconds from time, and they lost the last overtime we had in a very, very close game. And this game has been close, but ATK, you feel, have been the better of the 2 teams here. They've had the better of the action, certainly the lion's share of pressure play and territorial advantage, yet they find themselves still 2-2, 2 seconds from the end. Are we going to see an overtime? We may. One last effort. The pass to Gizal, the intercept from To Die For, and we will have a second overtime in Game 5.
Man, ATK took 3 overtimes there with Orlando Pirates to eventually clinch it out at the end. They probably are going to be happy that they've got at least this far. They cannot let it go right now. They still don't have any lives left. And so this sort of pressure play, the work that they've put in to get this far, has got to pay off for them right now. They start to build up their attack. Wheeler getting it towards the center. Werty going to get a nice touch, but soft. No one able to chase this up. The 50 denied out by Darth. He's picked up some boost.
Oh.
He's been able to take the shot. Werty at the last second keeps this ATK side alive.
Well, so far this overtime, living up to the last. Oh, there's been a team bump. Oh, it might still go in. Oh, they've missed. They get it in. Guess who will get it? ATK once more refused to die.
To die for pushing that towards the goal there. I thought that was it, and the chaos ensues. Who else but ATK can pull it out there at the end? They managed to pick up that second game onto their board and one step closer to getting this sweep happening right now. Somehow at the end of it, between this, what only recorded as 9 shots, and this time beating out May Contain Nuts shots tally, it was pressure from ATK, and they still only managed to get there by millimeters.
Well, at the very least, Alt, we've got our 6 games. If MCN go on to win here in the next game, we will get the 4-2 we thought that ATK might get to at the very, very least. But you have a feeling this Champions Field just feels like we might be going there.
It would only be fitting, right? At this stage, ATK's worked too hard to not at least get to see and at least smell that trophy that's waiting for them right now. A team that's shown that they can keep that composure for as long as they need to be able to pull it off. But man, they are having to fight hard, really, every step of the way. And what an amazing scene this is proving out to be in our second fall split.
And it's just, that's great news for the scene, just in terms of the general gameplay, the competitiveness. Whatever happens here, what a showing we have seen from ATK. They're not done. I think there's every possibility they go ahead and they take it down on Neo Tokyo to push us into Champions Field. But if they do fall here, my word, they are a team. Suddenly we're like, okay, well, now yet another team we have to keep an eye on.
Man, do we have a top 4, top 6 at this stage? Who even knows anymore? I mean, these 4 teams at least have proven their worth to be able to come through, and ATK showing that they want that tickets to the international. I mean, they've put in an incredible performance so far. Going to be happy that they're going to get a lot of points out of this. And obviously the little bit of cash in their back pocket going to be nice. But a team that's finding their form time and time again and proving that the resilience is there. You can see why they've got so many fans.
Absolutely. And it was, they won the fan vote around 60-40. The fans believed that ATK are going to take it down here, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. They have a formidable team to get past. A team who has been here before. They know how to win when it counts, and Darth will get them underway. 40 seconds in, rotating back, turns around, seeing an opportunity. Werty left for dead, backwards to the ball.
Oh, man, you know, I was chatting to Muzz about Darth the other day, and Muzz was saying that Darth does not get enough credits, and for good reason. This guy is there to finish off so many of these plays. He's set up so nicely by his team, but he's that dependable person who can just come in, and no matter who's in the nets, no matter what position he's coming from, he's making things happen and sending goals in. He scored so well previously, and the whole team of May Contain Nuts looking strong once more. ATK up for one more attempt to fight from behind.
Yeah, well, certainly not counting them out. May Contain Nuts outstanding at holding on to a lead, but ATK outstanding at refusing to go down.
And there they had a massive overlap there. May Contain Nuts had numbers advantage. They've invested a lot into it, and it's up to die for to kill it into the corner. Still, Werty was looking for that bloodshed the whole way through. It's going to at least relieve some pressure on the midfield. It gives Wheeler a little bit of space there. Cut off by Darth, though. Always ready to go in for the aggressive. Doesn't have the boost to follow it up anymore, though. And now Gaizu trying to get the 50 to die for. Has the mechanical skills.
Ooh.
Wheeler's going backwards. He makes a good save, though.
My word, Wheelu. I mean, what a team these guys have been. I mean, it's a triple nation roster. Netherlands, Reunion Island, and of course South Africa. And man, have they gelled, have they come together and produced suddenly a very formidable team. And it's wonderful to see, great to see. And what a showing from them we see here. And it's not done yet. MCN in front for now. The long distance clear to die for. An equally good clear off his own backboard to keep it away for now. But Giesel finds a way. Oh my word, we have a level game.
It starts with that long clear. It finds Wilu. There was a double commit into diving for that backboard read. Gezo manages to pull out of it nice and early, recollects himself, and comes from that off angle. The ricochet being passed across the field. They're set up. ATK so good off that backboard time and time again, and they prove to be potent. Will not die, this ATK side. They pulled it back to a level game. I don't know how many more goals each of these teams is going to put in, but it seems like every one of them could be make or break.
And you know what? Every moment in this game now, going forward, from this point forward, are important moments. You know, with ATK, you know, MCN can finish this off. If they can score 2 goals, they can take it down right here, be regional champions for the second time in a row. But ATK, they can get a goal ahead, hold on, they push it to Champions Field, and Champions Field becomes its own form of chaos because, yeah, you've got experience, and certainly MCN are going to have more experience in that final sort of situation. But with the way ATK are playing, there's been a mistake, but Wilu will tidy up. Tense and nervy moments as we count down. The next goal becomes exceptionally important.
Man, and look how slowly this ATK side is playing. They didn't have a lot of boost there to work with in the back line. And there it comes. Willow somehow manages to get off the save one more time. Still, MCN into the attack has been pushing on their advantage for so long. This one's going up high. This is dangerous. It comes down. It clashes. Snowy makes no mistake.
And there have been so many clutch saves, so many touches off the goal line to keep balls out. And we saw one just moments before that goal is scored. But this time, Snowy, with the famous African bouncer, gets it over and in and takes a 1-goal lead, but not a certain 1-goal lead. You know, it doesn't feel like a comfortable 1-goal lead by any means.
Oh no, down to the last second, this ATK side is prepared to fight it out. They just need a couple of seconds of space, a little bit of creativity, one backboard read that goes their way, and they can dispossess any team of their advantage. And they've got a minute to do it now. The last potential minute of their tournament life, of this grand finals, as we count it down. Still, ATK looking to push forward here. They've got Werty. Werty puts it on the backboard to die for. Doesn't get it too far out. Wilu going to be pushing it towards the center. Gives us up. Snowy dispossesses him for just a second. Werty deflects it from his own goals.
That would have been a savage counter goal there and sort of pinching in, but Werty does get there, and now 30 seconds to go. ATK not done yet. Werty! His shot is going to be saved. My word, is that their last? And MCN on the other side looking to put the kibosh on it. Wilu, not for the first time, the second or even the third time, for the multiple time, will get a clutch save. But it's on the wrong side. We're into the last 10 seconds. Alt, this is their final opportunity. Will May Contain Nuts be our champions for the second time in a row?
They got denied previously from this final second shot here. It's going down the wrong way to die for. Gonna look to put it in, and he does at the end of it, just to add insult to injury. ATK fighting it out, looking for time after time in the back of the net. They had so many good attempts, but it will be May Contain Nuts being crowned for the second time in a row your RLCS SSA champions.
Wow. Another outstanding performance from them, but they were made to work. This wasn't the 4-0 takedown that we saw in Regional 1. This was fighting tooth and nail. And it is ATK. They take 2 off May Contain Nuts in the playoffs. A magnificent performance, and they have really made their claim. They've put a stake in the ground for their place, their role in the SSA scene. And man, I hope that they are very proud of what they've done here this weekend.
Yes, 100%. You know, considering last weekend they didn't manage to make it past the quarterfinals, they are going to be ecstatic, I'm sure. And you know, the sad thing is they were so close to doing it as well. They came in here, 1 goal difference in a lot of these games. Even this last one was just down to the last couple of seconds. It could have turned around at any stage. A couple of missed touches from both teams opened up some incredible plays to create opportunities where there was nothing before. And yet we come down to this. A 4-2, still an incredible scoreline. Is Proxy, what a way. Welcome to Rocket League South Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. I think the teams have given me quite a roller coaster welcome, but what a beautiful series it has been. ATK still in the end proving that they have so much more potential, that they are bringing such surprises as we go from regional to regional. And speaking of those regionals, last regional, we only had 4 maps to salivate over. This time, we were treated to 6 maps in our grand final. What a beautiful series between these two teams. And again, the scorelines that go to show how close these two teams were. And if maybe it was a different day, ATK would have been taking the W, but they still have another regional, hopefully, to bring it back. As we take a look at it, Greybeard, give me just the highlights from MCN there as we went through those series.
Well, I think for me, the overall highlight is how competitive this was. MCN, everybody thought they would win that first regional, and they did. If we look at the final day, out of a potential between the 3 series, a potential 21 games, we only saw 12. We saw 13 on that last day. Today, we've seen 17. It's been far more competitive, and that is very good. We're seeing the gaps close. And yes, it may contain nuts. The super team, we expected them to win, but it is thrilling to see how hard they had to work and how hard ATK fought.
Absolutely. I mean, we brought through just such a beautiful presence from both of these teams. We got to witness ATK bringing in that reverse sweep, and my oh my, what a series that one was. Altruism didn't think his voice would be able to actually last for the rest of the day. Thankfully, it came back because this was also just such a brilliantly close series. Not as close, but it really did showcase those differences. And I mean, Altruism, again, if we were taking a look at that, if we're breaking down ATK's performance there, I felt like, again, it was a coin toss, and then we could have been, again, having maybe another overtime. We saw that 0-second goal just narrowly missing the mark, and then we would have had a potential map number 7. Who knows? I don't know. How did you feel watching that series coming through from ATK?
Man, it was so good to be able to see the way that HK took those hammers and then still pick themselves back up. This is still a new team. I mean, they're 4 weeks old as this current roster. That is ridiculous, to the fact that they're taking on the super team, the team with the most experience out of any of these teams in terms of international exposure. An incredible performance from them, a wonderful sign for SSA Rocket League. And I think that, I mean, Werty said it earlier, this was a team against Orlando Pirates that were running at 50% kind of thing. It shows that they really can achieve so much more. And it opens up that points table so much, considering we only have 2 wildcard slots. I don't know if I would put money on which 2 teams would be going through.
Again, I think both you and I, Altruism, we need to stop with the predictions. We need to stop with the gambling. Clearly, both of us don't make very good decisions. But hey, at least there was a prediction that worked out for you today. MCN did, in fact, take that W. They came back. They brought in the statistics we were waiting for. But it was a close and contentious fight. Greybeard, again, when we talk about this, just the competition that we're seeing, we started at the beginning with Triple M mentioning how close and contentious the middle section of Rocket League is. You know, that we're talking about those middle slots really fighting one another, and then we bring a lot of questions in from that. But now we've moved that up. We've moved that threshold higher to second place, where now in second place, we're like, hold up, there's a little bit of contention here. There's an Orlando Pirates, there's an ATK reformed, brought in a performance none of us were expecting. What does that mean for the region?
It can only mean good things. At the start of the first regional, the question, we had so many questions. Who's going to take it? Is the super team going to be the super team? Will it be close between them and the second? Who's in 3, 4, and 5? We got some answers, but we continue to be informed by what we're seeing. We're not just going to be a 2-team region. There is going to be competition, and you know, it's a bit tough here. Here we're talking about may contain nuts, 2-time regional champions, but we're spending a lot of time talking about all the teams that lost. But I think for good reason, just because it is vital that the scene grows through expanding the competitiveness of what we're seeing. And what I loved more than anything out of ATK was their what seemed to be their mental approach to how they were, just their refusal. There were so many times when a lot of teams would just go, oh, well, we tried, guys, and then kind of ride it out because they'd been smacked down. But every time they just wanted to get back and be competitive and challenge. And that was glorious to see.
Oh, it absolutely was. But of course, it doesn't stop just there. We have a fantastic interview lined up. It is, of course, Snowy moving on in to give us a little bit of an idea. Yeah, Snowy, surprising to see you here. I mean, what are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us for the interview. We have to start off with, how are you feeling? Elated? 2 regionals in a row. You must be absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy, but not super satisfied, to be honest. This was kind of a rough regional for us, but I suppose having a rough regional and still winning is a good sign.
Absolutely. I mean, Altruism, you got to hit us off here. What is the burning question you're waiting to ask here?
Snowy, I don't think you guys have been tested this closely in a while, especially not as this MCN lineup. You know, last regional was a very cut and dry 4-0 sweep in the finals there. Now we're seeing not just Orlando Pirates there looking for your title, but also now teams like Reform, teams like ATK. What does that mean to you as, you know, the ambassadors of SSA? Are you excited to have other teams to really scrim against and fight this out where you can sharpen each other? Or are you a little bit worried now for your title?
No, it's definitely a good thing, and it does excite me that there's more teams that are sort of getting to a higher level and pushing us more. But with that being said, I think today was more just about us against ourselves. We really had like an off day, and on top of that, ATK played quite well. You know, they did a stellar job in defense, and you know, they proved that, you know, their mental fortitude is up there, because they were 3-1 down in the semis against a team that they were big underdogs against, and they came back and they won a game 7 while being down in a game 7. So yeah, they played well today, and it is good to see other teams getting better, but I still think that we have a long way to go as a team, and there's an extraordinary amount of potential that still needs to be exploited.
Well, you say you had an off day, so what for you, what was off? Where did you feel it fell off that could have been so much better?
It's kind of just like in all areas, really. It's just like a general off day, and myself particularly, I really didn't play well this weekend at all, really. Yeah, shout out to my teammates for doing such a good job and carrying me in a lot of these games. But yeah, we got a lot of work to do.
Snowy, I have to find out. Graybeard. Is there anything else that you want to focus on that point?
No. Over to you, Proxy.
Double checking. When you're jumping into any sort of opponent, especially, you know, when it's a bigger opponent, maybe like you know, back at regionals, back at worlds, who knows where you are. What's the focus for a team like you guys? Do you focus on their weaknesses, or do you focus on playing your own game and trying to utilize your own strengths and capitalizing on that, rather than playing to their style?
Well, we are perfectionists, and we know that you need to do a bit of both. We know that we need to impose our game, we need to play our game, but at the same time, you know, you need to exploit teams' tendencies, and that's what we do. That's what we work on. We look deeply into replays at specific teams. So there is a little bit of a game plan for each team that we play, each different team. But you know, we are mainly focusing on trying to, you know, perfect our craft and our game plan.
Very nice.
I mean, it's a good game plan so far. It seems to be working. You guys are getting some great link-up plays. Not too many demos coming out in general, but the way you guys are playing in the air is pretty much uncontested so far in general. You got some really nice dribbles in yourself. So I guess the big thing going forwards is, what suggestions can you make to the teams that you come up against so far? You know, I mean, basically, at this stage, you are the ones who are showing people where their mistakes are. And are there general things in SSA that people need to work on, pacing, you know, dribbling individual plays, or is it just a case of keep going?
Yeah, there are some specific things that teams are, you know, not doing here, but it's tough to really like point any of them out, because ultimately we are our own ecosystem in SSA, so all the teams play against each other, we play against other South African players, and the play style that generally develops and the mistakes that develop along with that play style are like very unique to us. So we can we can hear from professionals or look at RLCS games in other regions and see what they do better and compare the mistakes. But realistically, we're just trying to sort of build our level up within our own ecosystem of players and teams. So there are a few things, but it's just how it is. It's just part of the process.
Snowy, when you got back from Worlds, we had a brief chat, and you were saying how difficult when you're playing against the sort of North American, EU, those top level teams, there's a huge amount of urgency because any mistake you make or any recovery you don't make is going to get punished. So you have that ingrained urgency when you're playing there, and you were expressing concern about how you bring that urgency back here when you're playing here. How has that been now that we're, August, September, October, sort of 2-3 months out from Worlds? How are you finding bringing that urgency to you or keeping that urgency in your game?
If I'm completely honest, it's kind of just faded, and the reason for that is it's near impossible to try and remember that stuff and keep to it because it's just not happening to us. The teams are not playing at that level, and therefore we're not being pushed, and it's just complete human nature to become lazy. So yes, I did experience that at Worlds, and I saw the kind of urgency that we need to play with and the things that we need to do to play at that level. But it's very, very difficult to keep up with that. While we're playing here, we're scrimming SA teams pretty much exclusively, and yeah, they don't push us. So we naturally forget those things, even though we know we should remember them.
All right. Well, from me, big up, congratulations on your second regional.
Thank you.
I've got one more question for you, Snowy, and this is more of like a personal or a team dynamic mentality thing. Is you guys have since the beginning been touted as the dream team, South Africa's or SSA's best chance at an international recognition. How is that starting to affect you guys? Are you just going into this now with that sort of awareness that, we've got to deal with it? I mean, considering Orlando Pirates and their record last year, and you're no stranger to this, are you guys starting to just settle in and be like, all right, we are the best team, we're expected to do this, and we're setting the bar? Or is there now starting to get that, any of our teams are starting to get good enough to really benefit from that international exposure?
No, it's still the mindset, and it's been the mindset that we are expected to win everything and be the super team from the moment that we even started discussing this, forming this roster, as far back as the third split last year, and yeah, I mean, it's just business as usual for us. That's just how it is.
Altruism, anything to follow up with that one?
No, I can imagine, like, as community leaders like that, there's always going to be targets on your back. And just from my side, having watched you guys for a long time and been big fans of all three of you in your team, I want to just say, keep going. You guys are incredible. What you're doing is fantastic. You've not let yourselves down. Even when you say like this, you didn't play as well as you could, you're still setting an incredible standard and inspiring a lot of people. RLCS has really done that for the scene. So congratulations to you guys. You deserve to get these wins. So far, looking pretty much untested. But whoever is getting out there on Twitter or any sort of thing like that, you guys just keep doing what you're doing, because we are proud as casters. I'm going to say this. I don't know about Twitch chat, but as casters, I think I can speak for us and say we are proud of the sort of level of Rocket League that you're taking SSA to.
Thanks, El.
Well, thanks so much, Snowy, for joining us and giving us your final words. Absolutely congratulations, and we'll see you in the next regional.
Yeah, cheers. See you then. Thanks, everyone.
Well, we've got the words from a champion. We've got the ideas of these, what they're basically going to be bringing into the next season. That's just going to come down to that consistency. It's going to come down to that mentality. Greybeard, your overall thoughts for this regional? What a surprising one it has been.
For me, the great thing is last season was all about, it was all new, it was all fresh, all the excitement of, like when you start a fresh relationship and everything's wonderful, everything's amazing. What I've loved as at the start of this season, our second regional, which is in our fourth split, it's starting to feel usual now, and now we can talk about deeper things, long-term things, and seeing the growth and depth of the region. It continues to be magnificent, and I continue to be stunned and so excited at how far we've come, but even more so with how much more we can still achieve.
And Altruism, I need to ask for you, words of wisdom to the teams and players that maybe didn't get the results that they were looking for this weekend, moving into the Invitational. Any words that you would be giving to these teams?
I kind of have to echo Greybeard's sentiments, is that RLCS seems to be here to stay for SSA, and the improvement that we have seen since 2 weeks ago, let alone last year. I mean, last year, from the beginning to the end of the season, every one of those teams came through and showed an incredible depth. I love the passion from this scene. I love the support from this scene, regardless of what you did this weekend, regardless of what you did next weekend, regardless of what you're setting your goals for next or 2 weekends time. There is so much growth that we're seeing from our objective sides here. As someone who's not trying to put anyone down competitively, there is so much growth potentially here. We have seen ATK come through, and you can see the smiles on the faces of the players. The guys at the tops are supporting each other because they know how difficult this journey is, and considering the level that they're setting at just that top 4, it is going to be a hard road, but damn, it's worth it. And you guys got to keep pushing regardless of it. Set yourself little goals, just little things. Doesn't have to be standings. Keep pushing for it, because we can see the improvement, and it is inspiring to us. It's inspiring to your other players, and hell, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, absolutely. Just to echo that again, the work that these teams are bringing in, the constant improvement, the pressure that they're adding to the teams at the top. I mean, that's massive for the region, not just for themselves as a team, as individuals. That brings growth to the community, that brings growth to the region, and that's what we want to see. That's ultimately what we need to see for the region to get better and better. Again, all of this is, of course, brought to you by ACGL, the absolute legends in the background, bringing you such a fantastic stream and production, the smooth graphics, all of the transitions, handling all of the potential technical difficulties that may have arisen. They were absolutely legendary. And our admin team, who are making everything happen, making everything work as smoothly as it possibly can. Thank you to the team. We are so happy to be here and so grateful for the viewers as well. It has been absolutely stacked in chat. The casters have been absolutely stacked as well. So massive shout out to everyone over the weekend coming through in clutch. But that is going to bring us to the end of this fantastic weekend. I'm going to open up the floor. Greybeard, Altruism, anything else to add before we head off?
Just in closing from me, and especially today, all the peeps that came, I'm assuming a lot of them came from EU to check us out. I see a lot of them stayed. I'm very gratified to have seen that, and I hope you'll fall in love with us and come back. But what a privilege to be a part of it, to the players, to everyone grinding the scene, and especially for this production, ACGL. Wow, it's been a pleasure having you on board, and can't wait to continue and just continue to grow and do more.
Yeah, reverse blank Eddie in the background. You guys have had an incredible showing. It's been a pleasure. But Psionics, if you guys are watching this, this is where the hype is. This is where the passion is. This is SSA. Follow that hashtag on Twitter if you want, because I promise you, you will find people to play with. You will find people who love the scene. And man, the highlights from this weekend is going to be something that I'm going to go back and watch a couple of times. We are a scene that everyone here can be proud of. So from my side, I'm going to be leaving this with a smile, and I'm waiting for 2 weeks' time, because I'm going to be here glued to my screen.
Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to ACGL and our fantastic team. Thank you to the viewers for bringing the hype. And of course, lastly, thank you to the teams and the players for putting on such a fantastic show. That's going to be it from us. Get ready for the next weekend of regionals, because it is going to be stacked and spicy. We'll see you guys next time.